All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of James Bond Bitcoin Live. Today, I have several guests here. Some returning. We got Brian. We got Chris. But our new guest here, and he'll introduce himself first, is RandoCrypto. Go ahead and please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Brandon, and I have a YouTube channel called RandoCrypto. I'm 16, so in this field, I'm pretty young, I would say. And I try to make informative videos that are also pretty entertaining and just offers some value, and that people can gain something out of my videos. So that's what I do for the most part.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Rando. And then Mr. A1 Baller, CoinMarketCap A1 Baller, Chris, say hi. Introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? How you doing? Good to be back.
All right. All the way from Germany, by the way. So he's taking some time out of his German time out there.
Yeah, it's 2 a.m. here. Grüß Gott, mein Freunde.
Wow, he spit out some German there. Nice. And of course, Brian, say hello.
Hello.
Excellent. So let's start with Rando, because you're our special guest here. You were actually referred to me by Yellow Fever for you. I know you know him. You probably talk to each other about mining and cloud mining and different coins and everything. Tell us how you got into cryptocurrency, because like you said, you're like 16. So it's not like you have a credit card, or I don't know how much of a bank account you have, but it's not like you can go out and purchase cloud mining services, or maybe even open an account at any exchange or Coinbase. So how did you get your Bitcoins or your coins in general?
I first started with just starting to mine. So I've got a computer. It's pretty powerful. It's got a pretty high-end GPU in it. So I was like, how can I make money with this? And then I was thinking, I heard of this thing in like school somewhere, or something called Bitcoin. So I actually started in January to mine Bitcoin. And now obviously you can't mine Bitcoin on a GPU anymore. It's just not profitable. So I open up like what to mine or something, and I see mining Bitcoin, I'm making like 1 cent a day, and I'm like, well, that's not going to work. But then I look and I saw that there's also on there's Ethereum, and there's Zcash, and there's Litecoin, and there's all of that stuff. And I was looking, with the graphics card I have, if I was mining something like that, I can make $2 a day or $3 a day or something like that. So basically, I just started mining with this computer that I have right here, making some Bitcoin, and then from there I discovered Genesis, and I invested $150, I think, into a terahash contract, and I got that, and then it just all spiraled from there, really.
Excellent. And so you started off mining. To get some kind of coins. I mean, you tried Bitcoin mining, but when you say mining like GPUs, you mean like into a mining pool, like what's it called? NiceHash? Is that example of one where you get Bitcoin?
That, yes.
Another coin?
Yeah, I started with NiceHash, and then I transitioned over to pool mining.
Okay, what coins are you mining right now? Or what pool and what coins in particular?
I am mining personally a coin called Signatum. It's actually a pretty new coin. It just came out July 28th, I believe. It debuted, and it's being pretty profitable. I'm making about $10 a day doing that currently, so that's not bad.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just actually looked into Signatum. It's a script mining coin, isn't? I know it has a few algorithms, but you can mine it with script. Can you?
To mine it, I use the skunk hash algorithm. It's called. I don't know about I don't believe it's a script. I don't believe it's script mineable, but I may be wrong on that.
I have a follow-up question. Is it a daily profit of $10? And if so, which graphics cards and how many are you using to mine?
That excludes power usage, by the way. But I have a rig that I just kind of, most of the parts I already had just from old computers that I had or a friend had. So it's got 3 power supplies on it currently because they're all just cheap power supplies that I just kind of threw together. So the graphics cards are, I have an RX 470, 2 GTX 960s, and a GTX 970 on that rig currently.
So that's 4?
Yes.
4 graphics cards?
4 cards total.
And that's about $10 a day.
Yes.
Now, oh really? Wow. Okay, cool. Now, how many coins do you get a day, roughly?
I get about 120, and they're about 8 cents a piece.
Are you hodling them or trading them for Bitcoin?
I'm holding them.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay, so you're holding the altcoin. Is that correct? Is that what you're saying? Okay,
Yeah,
that's not a bad plan because
I only have about 0.1 Bitcoin though currently. I have mostly, almost exclusively altcoins.
okay, that's not a bad plan if it's a new coin that's coming out and you're just starting to mine it, and it seems to be somewhat profitable. Maybe not. Either way, I think that's the best time to mine is in the beginning, and when no one's really like mining it, because you're going to get the most. And if you're fortunate enough, if you're just looking for money to extract from this coin, you're probably going to make out better. So if that's what you're looking for, but if you're looking for Bitcoin, you should just convert it immediately as soon as you can into Bitcoin, if that's possible. So okay, Rando, let me ask another question. How many people do you think of your same age range are doing the same thing? They're mining, and they're getting into cryptocurrencies through mining, obviously, because you don't have bank accounts, you don't have credit cards. It's not like you can just go buy Genesis mining cloud contracts or from Coinbase.
Yeah, I luckily have my parents whose credit card I can use to buy contracts. Obviously, I pay them back for it in cash, but I can do just about everything just in their name, but I still pay for everything. And as far as how many people my age are mining, I have one friend who I got doing it, and he actually has a 1080 Ti, which is like the best card you can get right now. So he's making pretty good money doing that. And as far as, not really, I mean, there's only about one other person I can talk to in school about crypto, and he doesn't really mine it. He just kind of, he bought about half a Bitcoin, I think, but he doesn't really do much with it. He just kind of holds it. So not too many, probably, I'd say.
Okay, that's good. Let me ask you, and anybody can jump in. How do you feel about the whole space in general? What is your view of the cryptocurrency space from your perspective, especially with Genesis mining not paying, and then these other sites like these high yield investment websites like BitConnect, USI Tech. There's another one called Finance Control. They're like kind of like Ponzi's or pyramid schemes. What are your view on this whole space that you've seen so far?
Yeah, it's not regulated, which I guess is good and bad. I mean, that's like a big reason that people start doing crypto is because it's not regulated. But there's a bit of a problem in that Genesis could just decide not to pay us, as they've been doing for the past couple of days, and there's nothing happening to them. I mean, there's no suits going on. There's no laws that says that they have to pay us, or if they are, they obviously aren't enforced. So it's just the transparency of companies in general. Poloniex has this problem too. I've found that there's not too many faces and people in crypto. There's just names and companies, and there's no personal connections, I guess, if you get what I'm saying.
Can you trade on Bittrex and Poloniex?
I cannot trade on Poloniex because I'm in New York. So
Wow.
I actually got kicked off of Poloniex, but Bittrex, I believe I can. I mean, I do. So, you know.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, he can probably just go to any exchange that just accepts his email as a sign-up registration. I recently, just for experimentation, signed up to Cryptopia, also known as Craptopia, and you literally just need an email, and you can start creating a plethora of altcoins with no problem. So there's no issues with that, especially if they're not taking any money. But I saw your video, Rando, on that. Brian, oh, did you want to say something, Brian?
Yeah, James, you know, I live here in New York as well, and a lot of the exchanges and different sites will actually, once you sign up and you go back in, it'll tell you, sorry, we cannot offer you service because of New York state law. We've chosen not to do business here.
Because of the bit license.
Or is it because
Yeah.
New York is a big financial hub for traditional markets?
It's
Well, they're
No,
not mutually
it's actually the
exclusive either.
bit
It's
license.
both together.
the bit license. It's really weird. It's basically a permit that's required for any company who wants to deal with crypto to New York customers. It's a permit that a company just has to have, and if they don't pay for it, they just can't deal to New York customers. So there's many of them that just say, screw that, you know. So
There's a good documentary called Banking on Bitcoin that describes the whole process of how it went down and how they went about making the law and what happened with the lawmaker after he put it into place. It's very interesting.
What's it called again?
Banking on Bitcoin.
Chris, do you know? I know you're in Germany. Do you know anything about the bit license in New York?
I have no idea about that. No.
Okay, around 2013 to 2014, it was Ben Losky. He was the head of the New York Department of Finance or something like that. I'm not sure the exact title, but this was shortly after Mt. Gox collapsed. He created this bit license where companies have to be licensed to have any New York resident or anybody in New York to be their customer. So a lot of companies that were in the crypto space, some of them left and stopped doing business with New York totally, and any New York resident. They shut off on their IPs and everything.
But really, that sounds like just like a punishment on the people of New York, right? Because like New York's only one small part of the world, and crypto is the internet. That's worldwide.
Well, what it is because New York can make money off of it, so that's what they do. They're like, hey,
Yeah,
we
it
can
was very
charge people
expensive.
to get this permit or whatever, so why the hell wouldn't we? So it sucks. So I don't know if Genesis has the bit license. Does anybody know if they have that?
No, they don't necessarily require a bit license because they're just renting out rack space, you know, the miners to you.
And they're based in like China, but have like their mining rigs in Iceland, right? So it's like, what laws? I mean, the Genesis is a really weird beast, if you ask me.
All the contracts are according to German law, is what they say. They'll be upheld by German law.
Genesis mining.
Yeah. The
Yes.
U.S. Department of Justice came out with a bunch of letters that explains like who needs to be a money transmitter, and who needs to apply for a money transmission license and who don't. And only people who act as third parties accepting currency are going to be licensed. So that's why you got Coinbase. Coinbase and all the exchanges are pretty much any exchange that accepts, in the U.S. anyway, that accepts any fiat currency has to be licensed. And then on top of that, if you want to do business with New York, if you're using virtual currencies, you also have to have a bit license as well. And so Coinbase and some of the other exchanges that are based in New York have applied for that license. And I think there's only about a very handful of bit license that's been issued. But anybody who applied can operate. They're in a probation period until they actually receive their actual bit license. And that's still ongoing.
Yeah, that may be a natural progression of changing times.
Yeah, and another thing is, Rando, I don't know if you are into ICO coins or these ER20 token coins, but the SEC also came out. They're not in New York, but a lot of the activity they supervise happens in New York. Recently, they had an open letter saying the DAO was security, and then Bitphoenix basically did the same thing where they shut off all U.S. customers, and they won't allow you to trade the tokens or even do anything with them. Is that a trend you see going on with other exchanges, or do you have any experience with any of the tokens?
I have done one ICO, and it worked out all right. It was an Ethereum related ICO, actually, and I sure hope that doesn't spread to too many exchanges, but unfortunately I see that it probably will. So just have to see where that goes.
What's your fear? Is it your fear that you can't cash out of these tokens? Like if they're delisted, you're just left holding a Chuck E. Cheese token for the most part?
Chuck E. Cheese.
Just about, yeah. Yeah, that would suck. That would not be good.
What's wrong with Chuck E. Cheese?
Well, Chuck E. Cheese is great. Don't get me wrong, but you can't. But the only thing you can get with a token is an arcade game. I mean, you can't get like a gumball or anything else with a Chuck E. Cheese token.
Well, you have to play the game that spits out the raffle tickets, but it takes more than one token to actually get enough raffle tickets to get a gumball from the front counter. So yeah, but
that sounds like a Ponzi scheme in a way.
Well, but they offer a product. It's pizza.
Well,
and it is entertainment.
And it's not Ponzi in particular. It's some racket. But anyway.
Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese is a racket. They should.
So how come you can't use tickets to buy a pizza? You see, I think that'd be awesome to win like the jackpot and be like, yeah, I'll get like 2 large pizzas, please, with these tickets. But no, you can't do that.
No, you can't do that because it's a raffle. They could just accept it or deny it as they wish. It's almost like getting credits, store credits, and they decide. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, I was gonna say you forget that you have to put like $20 into the machine, and then it spits out the tokens, and then you use the tokens to get the tickets. So it's already like a multi-layered system of getting your prize, right? So, but
there are communities. Oh, go ahead. Oh,
I was just gonna say, why don't you put $20 into the Chuck E. Cheese token machine? You get your 20 tokens, and then go buy a pizza, and then when they don't take the tokens, start screaming that it's a Ponzi scheme.
Well,
Yeah.
how about this? Just buy the pizza. How about that? Forget the tokens.
Yes, skip the token part. It's bullshit.
Dave & Buster's has an elaborate setup like that, right? And there are little communities that have sprouted up online that trade secrets on how to game the Dave & Buster's systems to get the big prizes. Whenever they get like new PS4s in, they descend like locusts and run their schemes, get all their tickets, and walk out with their PS4s, 2 or 3 of them.
Doesn't
Wow.
surprise me.
So
Dude,
so
there's people scamming left and right throughout history. That shit is never gonna change.
well, you know, the with this recent thing happening with Bitfinex, and this is kind of why I want to talk about it a little bit is, I think that's one of the reasons why we're having maybe a rise in the Bitcoin price, and also a dip in the altcoins and some of the ERC20 tokens, as well as Ethereum. It's kind of pumped a little bit, but it's not pumping high enough. It hasn't reached its high, and it's starting to go back down a little bit. Do you think that maybe Bitfinex pulling out U.S. customers and maybe not allowing U.S. customers to even trade these tokens, you think that's affecting the market in some ways? Anybody?
I'm sorry, man. I missed what you said. I was
Okay.
fucking around.
Okay, the Bitfinex not allowing U.S. customers to sign up, first of all, and also not even take U.S. customers to trade these ERC20 tokens. You think that's affecting the market overall because Bitcoin prices shot up surprisingly high, like even like 4,000, over 4,000. The peak was almost 4,200. But the other coins on the coin market cap, they're kind of taking a dive.
I think it's hard to say, to be honest with you. I mean, if the Ethereum token ICO thing is going to take a dump because it's getting regulated, yeah, maybe more of that Bitcoin is going to go back into what? Bitcoin? But
You mean more Ethereum?
no, I'm trying to say if people are using Bitcoin to buy the tokens, the ICO tokens, right? Well, Bitcoin is going to go up in value because they're buying Bitcoin to get into Ethereum. But if the Ethereum ICO tokens get regulated, well, people are still going to buy Bitcoin. So
Well,
Bitcoin seems to be in a unique position to benefit off of anything that happens in the crypto market.
Well, I was thinking that because if what Randall was saying, he's worried because if he has these ERC20 tokens and all of a sudden you can't access these exchanges to trade these tokens, in other words, I'm assuming he wants to cash out maybe to Ethereum and then to his Coinbase or maybe to get more Bitcoin, whatever the case may be. I would assume probably cashing out. You know, you're cutting off access to a money supply, right? You bought these tokens in anticipation that this token would go up in value, and it has for the most part. But once that access to an exchange is cut off, you're literally just left with Chuck E. Cheese tokens. I mean, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, you're a bag holder, but
Yeah.
guess what? Somebody bought your Bitcoins at a certain price for those tokens, right? And now you're just a bag holder for the token, and you go, oh, now I can't use my tokens to make some money because the exchange blacklisted them. I guess I better go back into Bitcoin because that's the on ramp to all the other shit. So then you buy Bitcoin again, and you just took a loss because you're a bag holder for some shitty ICO. So yeah, I think you're right. I think the price of Bitcoin is just going to go up because the ICOs are getting blacklisted.
Well, I think that they go ahead.
When people see they are losing access to one of the major exchanges, they'll start to worry. How? Because at the end of the day, most people are either going to hold it or they're going to want to have an easily accessible off-ramp or trade. And if they see a big exchange stop serving US customers, a certain segment of people are going to say, hey, this could happen with more exchanges. And maybe Coinbase is going to be my only way out. So Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum are my parachutes back to fiat. Hold on just a second. Sorry.
Looks like he's got some music going on there.
That's the Bronx for you.
Hey, that's a DX all day, every day. So if these folks feel like those are the only 3 parachutes or off-ramps to fiat, then, well, for this theory to hold any water, we should have seen an increase in Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. And we haven't seen an increase in Litecoin whatsoever, and just a smidgen with Ethereum. But I do think there is some effect from people realizing that there's only a certain small amounts of cryptos that you can get back into fiat with. And if you lose that access to a Bitfinex, then you won't have that off-ramp. And with possible regulations looming, then more and more exchanges might be inaccessible. Thus, you switch to something you know you can switch out to at any time.
Yeah, but there's more to it than that, right? Because the
Yeah.
on and off ramp with fiat into the crypto market, at least from my standpoint, there could be other ones, but the main thing for me is Coinbase, right? And what are they take in fiat? Litecoin, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Litecoin, it's a great coin, but it's steady, right? So people seem to be using it just as a hedge, as a bet against inflation. And Ethereum is starting to become like known as some kind of scammy, semi-scammy ICO venture capitalist thing that's kind of volatile. But Bitcoin, in everybody's eyes, is rising in value. So the only thing they really want to get in and off of the crypto market with is Bitcoin, if that makes any sense, right? Nobody's going, well, I better like trade for Ethereum so I can go to Coinbase and sell Ethereum for fiat. I would,
and that's, I agree. And that's why I said in my previous statement, you don't see any increase in the price of Litecoin or Ethereum. So obviously they're not choosing it. That is an available off-ramp, but they're not taking that. People are going with Bitcoin.
Right.
They're
Yeah, you did say
that. They're seeing the inherent value in Bitcoin. Also, we have to remember that there's a whole peer-to-peer market for Bitcoin, both above and underground, that fuels it as well. So people need Bitcoin for different things.
Yeah, that is correct, Brian. I recently did a trade for cash with Bitcoin, even though it's gone up in price. Not 4,000, but at I think 3,500. One Bitcoin for 3,500. So people are still buying outside of the exchanges. The other thing to note on Bitfinex is they were actually fined by the CFTC for offering their loans as for, I think it was a couple of years ago. So they understand what it feels like to get hit by regulation. They were fined, and they paid a hefty fine to do that. And so I think this is an early sign because Bitfinex understands what it's like to go through regulation and then get fined for not complying. So I think they're moving. I think they're smart. They're a step ahead, and plus they're having banking issues anyways. And so on top of that, they just, I think what they did was smart. But I'm kind of concerned because there's also issues with their Tether tokens, and some people are questioning whether how solvent Bitfinex is. And so there's some issues with that as well. But I wonder how long before the U.S. exchanges start complying as well, because they're going to have to actually, I think, get licensed as a securities exchange if they're going to offer these tokens, these ERC20 tokens now. And none of them have made any announcements or any steps. Do you see like a huge issue that maybe these token holders aren't seeing? I mean, are they? I think a lot of Ethereum people are in denial because after the letter came out, the price bounced back up. They don't think they're going to get fined or there's no issue. Have you been keeping track of any of that?
Not to too much extent, no.
Okay.
I didn't know that they got fined. How recently was this?
This is about a year ago. This is
Oh,
this
okay.
is the with the futures and commodity trading regulatory body, and this is based on their loans that they were making on margins. So they got fined for that. And so when I got the news that they're cutting out U.S. customers and they're not offering U.S. customers any more of these tokens, that tells me that things are about to get real with these exchanges. Because have you had a chance? Did anybody have a chance to read the SEC letter?
Yeah, I didn't read it, but wasn't this all about to come to a head anyway, sooner rather than later?
Well, the letter was pretty plain and pretty open, and it seemed to me like they were indicating to the exchanges, you need to start getting licensed if you're going to offer these tokens. And a week goes by, 2 weeks go by, more ICO tokens are being up for sale. Nobody does anything. And so I think, and then I read another article on Cointelegraph. It was a sponsored article. Now, usually sponsored articles are something that an ICO token would do, or somebody who's trying to scam everybody, like Ethereum Chamber with their wallet, their on-site wallet, would sponsor to try to get, these are paid advertisement. Someone sponsored an article specifically warning the exchanges to comply, and enforcement will be coming soon, was the gist of the article. And to this day, no, I haven't heard anybody except for Bitphoenix, and that's a signal for me that maybe something's coming down the line here. And these people who are holding these tokens, they better be ready to cash out.
Yeah.
Because they may be literally stuck.
Yeah, I would. If I could offer any advice, and I'm not a pro, I'm not an expert, but if I could offer any advice to anybody, I would chill out on all the ICOs because the hammer's about to come down.
Now that interests me because Poloniex also does trading on a margin too. I don't know. They could get hit with a pretty big fine too, because that's illegal. I mean, you can't do that anymore. That's been illegal for a while now.
Well, they had to register. They had to be licensed to do that. So I think maybe Poloniex may be licensed. I know they're a licensed money transmitter. Well, they are now.
Even
probably.
So, you can't trade on margin. I mean, I'm in the stock market. That's been illegal for a long time, since the Depression. I don't know if the same applies for crypto.
No, I think you can trade on margin. On stocks and futures.
Not in the stock market, you can't.
I know Poloniex cannot operate in New York. It did not get a bit license.
Okay, yeah, so they didn't get a bit license.
I got kicked off the other day.
Well, so, you and Brian, can you tell us what it's like to be in New York, and how do you deal with this? Because a lot of places don't allow New Yorkers to do anything with any crypto. How do you deal with it, and how do you get around?
Poloniex is the only place that's given me issues, and you could just use a VPN, and then they wouldn't have any way to know. So for people who don't want to be caught, just use a VPN. You should be fine. But it's not. It really hasn't been too bad, especially because I'm under 18 too, so I'm restricted even more, and it really hasn't. It hasn't inhibited me too much, which is good.
I bet German law would say that they would have to give the money back to your parents because a kid made the decision and Genesis would lose.
If it came down to court, you're probably correct, yeah.
So Brian, how have you been getting your coins since you're also in New York?
Well, those are the only options. You don't participate in the exchanges, or you use a VPN. It's been actually a bit of a blessing for me because I probably would have been trading and doing this and that had I access to Poloniex. So I don't use it. I started out with faucets, and then I got a Coinbase account, and then I've got treasure hunt money. So
That big treasure hunt money. Yes.
Yeah, yep. All of my coin has been basically proof of work and a little bit of money.
All right. Well, I know I've been talking to you about peer-to-peer. How is that going for you, Brian, in New York?
I um people it's funny, people don't want to meet face to face. People chicken out. And that's been the story so far.
Okay, that's interesting. It can be like that in the beginning when I first traded peer-to-peer. There were many no-shows. That's one of the reasons why I have them come to me, and then I don't have to take like an hour or 2 hours out of my time to go meet them. It just takes me 5 to 10 minutes, or I just go out. If you're in New York, it's pretty crowded. You can just say, hey, meet me at the corner of this, which is only 2 minutes away from where you live. You should probably do that, or have some other means. That's just my opinion on it. But yeah, you get some tire kickers, but eventually, once you find someone real, they'll keep coming back to you. That's my experience with it. How about you, Chris? I know you're in Germany, but I don't know what it's like. I know you mine your coins. How have you been getting your coins?
The way I got my first Bitcoins was I signed up for a Coinbase account, and since I'm a combat veteran, I'm allowed to have an account with a credit union called USAA, and they allow you to be affiliated with Coinbase. So I linked my account with them, and I just bought my Bitcoins with them through my bank account, basically. I bought a few, and then now I just mine it. I have 4 mining rigs, 3 are GPU based, and 1 is an ASIC. And I just let them sit there and run and earn some Bitcoin, throw it into my wallet, and that's how I get them now. But I wouldn't mind buying more on Coinbase, but I'm waiting for a dip, and Bitcoin doesn't seem to be wanting to take a dip. So, but to answer your question, how I get my Bitcoins is through mining and through Coinbase.
So in Germany, how expensive is your power? Because I believe that most of Europe has extremely high power costs, right?
Yeah, it's pretty expensive. It's 30 euro cents kilowatt.
Geez.
Yeah, it's about 30 cents.
I pay about 11 American cents, so I'm paying about a quarter what you pay.
Yeah. It's and the thing about Germany, right? They have they tout all these solar panels and wind farms, and they still charge 30 euro cents, which at the current exchange rate is about 35 American cents kilowatt hours.
Because solar panels are expensive, that's why.
It might be, but they act like that they're solar panels because they have them everywhere, and wind farms are everywhere, and they act like they're going green, and they still charge you up the ass for electricity.
Yeah, that sucks for miners.
So I take a bit of a hit on the electricity costs, but the profits in Bitcoin are still way better than the loss. So that's why I do it. And the Bitcoin I mine today, what's it going to be worth next year? So it's worth it. And Thomas Gutierrez is in the chat room right now saying mining is a scam. So I guess he won't be pumping Genesis mining anymore.
Well, there's a lot of people who made a lot of videos about mining, Genesis mining. I noticed a lot of them all of a sudden not making Genesis mining videos, and if they are, they're complaining about how they're not getting paid out. I had I think it was G Bonix. He was on this show. He told me he had like $30,000 into Genesis mining, and he has like over 300 terahashes. And he's the only one that I've seen still making these Genesis mining videos. I don't think he's getting paid out, but there's the problem is someone who puts a lot of time and energy into it, they'll just keep doing it in hopes that they could get their money. And I understand that feeling because when Mt. Gox collapsed, I was hopeful that they'll come back. They'll come back, and same thing with Cryptsy people, right? They'll be, Cryptsy's going to come back. They'll come back, don't worry. And I'm sure all the BTCE people are probably I feel sorry for them the most, because they're they're still tweeting out and on a Bitcoin talk that, oh, we got everyone's account, don't worry, we're gonna refund you your money. That's just a cruel joke. I think ultimately in the end they're just gonna have to come to a realization that, shit, I lost my money, you know, and I should just move on, lesson learned. And I think a lot of these people who were cloud mining are learning the hard way. Yeah, I should just hold on to my Bitcoins and other coins and you know, see if maybe even trade peer to peer at some point.
I gotta fess up and be honest, right? When I first got into crypto, I bought my Bitcoins from Coinbase, and I put about $4,000 because I was watching the wrong people, and some of them are in the chat, but I was watching the wrong people, and I spent some money on Genesis mining, $4,000 worth of Dash hash power, and that was back in April. I haven't made that money back yet, and now Genesis mining is not paying out. But if I would have held on to the Bitcoin that I put into Genesis mining at that point, that was about 4 or 5 Bitcoin. That would be about 20 grand right now. But as it stands, I'm at a loss of about 5, at a minimum 4 or 5 Bitcoin, and who knows how much profit, because I don't know what Genesis mining has paid me since I put into it. But the money that I've put into my GPU mining rigs is slowly had a return on investment, and I will be able to sell off the equipment when it's no longer profitable. So, you know, don't get into cloud mining. Just buy Bitcoin and hodl.
Yeah, I didn't purposefully overlook my sojourn into Genesis. I forgot to mention it as well. If I had taken the money I invested, which was way less than yours, I would have, if I would have just purchased Bitcoin with it, as of today, I would have seen 4.5 times growth on that investment.
Yeah.
And I have not earned back my original investment either from Genesis. I'm about 80% through, 83% through return on investment. And I started in early March.
There's Thomas G's in the chat, and he's kind of talking shit about me. But here's the thing. In life, when people are presented with facts that contradict their own beliefs, they double down on their own fucked up beliefs. So take that for what you want. But if it was up to me, and I can go back in time, I would just hodl Bitcoin. And people, they keep saying, act like Bitcoin is the only thing and there's no money in alts. There is money in alts, but what is the money in alts? It's more Bitcoin. So you're still beholden to Bitcoin. That's why you get into alts. Right?
Yeah, you're not wrong on that. The entire reason to buy altcoins, like even Ethereum, is to get more Bitcoin.
Right, and they hate that Bitcoin is their king. And so when people like me say Bitcoin is all that matters, I'm not saying don't buy alts. I'm not saying don't buy alts because there's no money in them, but the money that's in them is Bitcoin. So guess what? Bitcoin is the king. That's what you want, right?
Currently,
or am I wrong?
No, currently Bitcoin is on top. I do think the Ethereum could overtake it in terms of market cap, but I think that Bitcoin will for a long time be the currency that people think of. If you hear the term cryptocurrency, you're going to hear the term Bitcoin. And as far as going to whatever Starbucks to buy a coffee, I think they're going to accept Bitcoin long before Ethereum or Dash or anything like that.
Brandon, you mentioned you think Ethereum may take it over in market cap. Give us your reasons why you're so hopeful for Ethereum.
Because Ethereum has more uses than Bitcoin does, whereas Bitcoin is good for buying things, but Ethereum has a practical usage. The Ethereum the network can be used to host programs off of and things like that. And I just think the Ethereum, the programming behind it is more sound than Bitcoin is. It's not that I don't like Bitcoin. I just think that Ethereum is a better coin in general than Bitcoin is.
Okay, you mean like the world computer,
Yes.
Ethereum virtual machine, that you could have that layer of programming and making smart contracts and everything?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's that's what I hear a lot, is that Ethereum, being a smart contract and everything, but I haven't seen anything as of yet other than making more tokens on Ethereum is the only thing I've seen. And considering possible regulations coming through, that may that may slow down greatly, and people may not are not so willing to buy into them once they realize that that they may not ever get their money, because you have two choices. Either you make this token, the ERC20 tokens, literally into a raffle ticket in which people are paying to give you money. That's all it is. And that's how you're crowdfunding a project. Now, if this raffle ticket somehow magically in a peer-to-peer network or a decentralized way are able to be traded for some value, then that's doable. But since you take away the exchanges and the outlets for money where they're traded, that's going to greatly cause a lot of friction. So I think that's not going to be very plausible to do in the future. So that's kind of what's been driving the price, in my opinion. And so we'll see what happens. They are second in the coin market cap. Another thing on Ethereum I wanted to bring up was looks like they're gonna try to do something called plasma. Does any of you heard about that? It's basically Lightning on the Ethereum network.
I haven't heard of that. No, yeah.
Okay. Well, how about have you heard about Lightning on Bitcoin network, or does any of you know what that is?
No.
Sorry, James.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I'm too busy. I'm too busy in the chat, bro. I'm sorry, man.
All right. No problem, man. You talking to Thomas G? I see.
Yeah, that's my man right there, dude.
Thomas G, come on. You have the link to this channel. You're here in the chat. Come on. I know you're drunk and everything.
Jump on in here, Thomas.
Don't worry. Yeah, Randall will hold your hand.
Let's go.
Thomas loves me for some reason, dude. I don't know.
Well, that's because we've been
James,
trolling Thomas for a while.
I think it's because I stole his name.
If you could do,
What's up, Brian?
James, if you could just do a brief synopsis of Lightning so that we'll understand what plasma is supposed to be, then that can open up the conversation.
All
Yeah,
right.
sorry to get off topic, guys. I'm sorry.
No problem. Making fun of Thomas was fun. Anyways, Lightning is basically a second layer on top of Bitcoin, and it allows it's kind of like a walled garden, right? It doesn't require any mining. It only has Lightning nodes for the most part. I'm just going to get really simple with it. I don't want to get too detailed unless you have any questions about it. But basically, you send your Bitcoin to the Lightning network, and then you open up a channel with different people, creating a network within the Lightning network. And what it is basically it's a pull system. So if I made a request to send somebody some money, I'm pulling it, right? I'm pulling that to my final destination, and depending on how many channels are connected to my final destination, I'm pulling from so many people to get it to store ABC, right? Or something like that. That's the general idea. And since there's no mining involved, it's nothing but Lightning nodes. The transfer is instant, and it's just keeping a ledger. So this network basically keeps tracks of our ledgers, and at the end of the day, if you want to close your channel, you close the channel out, and then you broadcast on the Bitcoin network. and that's how you finalize, you know, your balance. And so that's pretty much what Lightning is for Bitcoin. And so the creator of Lightning, or one of the co-founders or co-creators of Lightning, is working with Vitalik and making something similar for Ethereum, and they're calling it Plasma, and that's their scaling plan. And I find that very interesting because as Bitcoin's about to implement Lightning Network, all of a sudden Ethereum comes out with a rabbit out of its magic, you know, a rabbit out of its magic hat, and is going to do Plasma. So that's kind of what a Plasma is, and I'm wondering if that's kind of like their new trick up their sleeve to get the price going.
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead, Brian.
ahead.
No, go
All
ahead,
right.
Brian.
So, Bitcoin has a false narrative running, and it has ran for a while, which is there's a scaling issue. There are problems with the backlog of transactions because we need bigger blocks and this and that. Ethereum faces a more inherent danger than Bitcoin, because with every ICO, there's more traffic, there's more written on the blockchain, so it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. Their problem is going to be storage of the Ethereum blockchain, and that's going to force it to become the most centralized currency the quickest. Only people that will be able to house that data are the large companies who are involved in the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance. So they have scaling issues. I don't know if this will help. Well, this Plasma thing won't help with that. But you're right, James. It's probably to give it a little pump, give it a little boost, a little shot in the arm.
Yeah, Chris, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I think Vitalik invented something that's going to get out of control, and he doesn't know how to contain it. That's what I think.
All right, what are your thoughts on it, Rando?
Yeah, I just try to stay out of all that kind of stuff. You know, I just kind of do my own thing.
All right, good enough. I think it's like strange how it's all of a sudden these other networks are implementing some kind of Lightning network, and I don't know how much of it is marketing versus any real technology that's really needed or even useful to different blockchains. Because when I look at the different networks, like Litecoin, even to some degree Ethereum or Dash, what else have I done to test on? Dogecoin. They barely have any traffic on their blockchain. You know, I'm doing experiments where I'm sending these coins with 0 transaction fees, and the longest it took me was Litecoin took me 24 hours. Dash took about 10 minutes. Doge is about a couple minutes. Ethereum requires a minimum amount of some gas, but even then, that only took about an hour or two. So it seems like they don't have any. They have no issues as far as block size or any scaling. So this must be some kind of new marketing, in my opinion.
It might be. That's still weird. That's still weird to me. Like 0 fees. You know, what is that about?
Well, are you talking about on the Lightning Network, or are you talking about on the blockchain?
On the blockchain, like all the other coins you talked about, it's like, what's the point of having your fucking node up or your miner? Like, you're not going to get paid any fees. Why would you waste your time?
Well, here's the thing: is that there's no traffic on those coins. There's no traffic on those blockchain.
So what is that telling you about that coin?
It's not being used. You know, it's literally not being used.
And where does that follow? That coin ain't worth shit.
Yeah, that coin ain't worth shit. Pretty much, you know, because they're mining anyway, right? They're mining like Doge is mining, like, I don't know, every minute they're mining a block or something, and each block is 10,000 Doge coins.
Well,
right?
I can get Doge because it's got its fan base, right? People love Doge as a
right.
for whatever reason, but like Dash or whatever. What?
Yeah, Dash takes about 10 minutes, no fees, and they're mining anyway. I guess they can not choose to mine my transaction. If they really wanted to, but then they're trying to attract more users. So when they started getting really popular, their whole thing was to take Bitcoin users and convert them into Dash users, and they're going through this whole our transaction fees are faster and lower, and you can be anonymous and everything. So they have a whole different marketing plan, and their plan is to compete with Bitcoin.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but that being said, sometimes when I transact with Bitcoin, I'm like, man, the transaction fee, right? But then when you look at the actual price of Bitcoin, what has it done in comparison to Dash? The fee means shit at that point for me.
Right. Well,
Bitcoin has just skyrocketed. So what do I care about Dash having a 30-cent fee but hovering around $200 for like the last few months?
Well, really, you can send Dash for 0 fees, right? You'll save your 30 cents.
Technically, yeah.
Well, I've actually done it. It takes about 10 minutes. But I've also tried it with Bitcoin recently while doing the split on the BCH tokens.
Now, how'd that work out?
Well, I got the first part on it, and it looked like it was going to work. I don't want to spoil it, but what I have to tell you is that I waited 5 days, and I still got no confirmation, both on Bitcoin and BCH. So you have to wait for my next video to come up to see what happens. I can only tell you that I ended up using a different wallet to split my BCH. So I'm glad you brought that up. How was your experience with the whole Bitcoin split?
It wasn't too bad. I use Ledger Blue, but the thing about Ledger Blue is when you open up their app, it's not intuitive at all. And I was really paranoid, so I didn't split right away. And when you open it up, it brings up Bitcoin Cash, and then when you open up Bitcoin Cash, it asks you for main or split. And I'm not fucking with this. But one 3-minute video explained it in really simple terms, and it actually wasn't so bad. But Ledger, their instructions are lacking. They dropped the ball on that one, if you ask me. But the actual splitting of it, when I learned how to do it with my Ledger Blue, well, it wasn't that bad. But if you have a Ledger Blue and you haven't split your coins yet, I would suggest, well, you can ask me, or you can Google. I would Google it first, or ask somebody who's done it before. It's not hard, but Ledger makes it hard.
I guess once you know how to do it, it's not hard, but yeah.
It wasn't really hard because it has like a main. It says main wallet. You go to main wallet. You see your balance. It's the same as what you had before. Then you don't transfer shit. You just go to split wallet. You make a new. See, it says split, but that's your actual Bitcoin Cash wallet. It should just say Bitcoin Cash wallet. But what it actually says is Bitcoin split. Right?
Yeah.
And then you go to your Bitcoin Cash / Bitcoin main wallet, and honestly, it's too fucking much trouble to explain it right now. But it's pretty simple. But Ledger Blue, their instructions suck. That's all I can say.
All right, yeah. There's a lot of videos on it now. It's been almost a week or week and a half since the split. So, but what have you done with your Bitcoin Cash? Did you dump it? Are you holding it?
I hodled it, man. I'm like, it was only worth about $1,000, $1.50. So that's chump change to me. If it goes to 0, I don't care.
Yeah, you really cared about your Bitcoins, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, how about you, Brian? How did you handle the split? How did I know you did Coinami. How's it working out? Are you having issues?
No, it was very simple. Their instructions made it very easy, and the process itself was easy. All I did was go, and anybody can watch your videos, by the way. Go to add coin, choose Bitcoin Cash, go into the advanced settings, change the derivation, and that's very simple. It's a total of like 12 characters, I think, that you type in. Very simple. And then you hit OK, put in your password, and boom, it comes up. There's a separate wallet. Of course, it's got the same address as your Bitcoins, and you've got an equal amount of Bitcoin Cash. I've just sat on mine, except for the 0.01 I sent to you as a no-fee donation as a test, which still has not confirmed.
Well, it doesn't even show up either on the Explorer as even unconfirmed. So I think there is some issue with sending your Bitcoin Cash from Coinami. Have you sent anybody else your Bitcoin Cash, or have you?
No,
sent
I'm
any
holding
Bitcoin
on to it. I'm just
Okay.
holding on to it. If anything, I might have to do a replace with fee transaction and get those back. I don't know, or send them to you again.
Yeah, I from my experiment, it never broadcasts the signal. From what I can tell, it shows a transaction ID, and it just sits there, because I did it. I swept a key is what I did, and when I swept it, it did it with no transaction fee, even though I put a transaction fee in the settings, and so it just sit there, but it never showed up on any of the Explorers on Bitcoin Cash. So I think they're having some issues with broadcasting, because I had to use Electron Cash eventually. And so I had to re-sweep my private keys. Anyways, that's in another video coming up. Rando, I know you use Coinami and you use it on your desktop. Have you had a chance to split your Bitcoin Cash at all?
Yes, I did. And most of my Bitcoin I had in Coinami. So I sold that Bitcoin Cash that I got from that, but I forgot about 0.1 Bitcoin that I had in Coinbase. So I kind of got ripped off on that. But Coinbase did say that they are going to support Bitcoin Cash here starting next year. So by then it might be worthless. We'll just have to see. But I sold about 0.6 Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, Coinbase had to do that because a lot of these exchanges that said they weren't going to support it, it started having the perception like they were hoarding the Bitcoin Cash.
Yep.
So Coinbase was kind of
which they pretty much could. I mean, because
totally,
because Coinbase controls the private keys, so they essentially just got all the Bitcoin Cash and just like, no, I guess we're gonna keep it. And it's like, you can't do that, Coinbase. You know, it's ours.
So when you traded your Bitcoin Cash on Coinami, did you use Shapeshift?
Cryptopia.
Oh, you sent it out, and it got sent just fine.
Yeah, it took almost an hour, so it took a while, but it sent.
What fees did you send it on?
What fees? What do you mean?
Yeah, what was your fee for the Bitcoin Cash?
I don't remember. I mean, I just did the standard fee, the
the default.
Yeah.
All right. And Chris, did you have something?
I don't think it was a very big fee though. I think it was just, I don't know.
I wanted to say with the Bitcoin Cash, I didn't trade it right away because I was doing small test cases. So when I split it, I sent one over to Bittrex just to see, right? Because I don't want to send a whole bunch at once. That's just me. But it took like 30 hours to send one Bitcoin Cash to Bittrex. Because I was going to trade them all for Bitcoin. But like I said, I only do like small test cases when shit is new. And it took about 30 hours for me to send one Bitcoin Cash from my ledger over to Bittrex. And then by that time, I had looked at the chart and the price had just kind of like crashed. So I was like, well, the rest that I have, if it takes the same amount of time, fuck it, I'll hodl them. It ain't really worth that much in my eyes. So that's why I held.
Yeah, no problem. I ended up just taking the treasure hunt. Oh, Thomas G. Thomas G's in the house. All right. Are you drunk? He's drunk already, man.
I'm trying to get there.
Welcome, Thomas G. Well, first of all, introduce yourself, Thomas G.
Wow.
Well, it's I'm on YouTube, man. What do you mean introduce myself, James? You already know damn well who it is. YouTube, making videos, always doing stuff. I want to just come on real quick because I know somebody on there was saying to come on and giving Chris a hard time. He kind of, what's the word? Is it insinuated that I was probably one of those YouTubers you watched and got him to spend his $4 grand on Genesis mining? So I just want to. I feel bad about that, but at the same time, I don't.
Thomas, I don't mean to cut you off, bro. I have to say I'm an adult. It's my personal responsibility with my money. But you have to take into account you do have a fan base. They do take into account what you say. Ultimately, it is their responsibility, though. So I'm not blaming you for what I did. But I was new to the space.
How many months ago?
This was April. You did influence me. I'm not gonna lie. You did influence me. That's where this weird.
We're talking 4 months. So if you really listen to me, I tell you the patience pays off. In 4 months' time, could you have pictured yourself buying a home and gaining enough equity to sell it in 4 months' time? No. It's a process of waiting it out and looking at the fact that if you bought a 2-year contract, well, look, it could take 10 months to a year to get ROI, but then you got a full another year of just pure equity and profit. It may not be a lot as if you would have bought the coin, but you got to think about it this way. If you would have just bought the coin, yeah, you probably would have made more money, but you didn't, and you made the investment, so you got to wait it out to go 4 months later and cry about it and make a big deal. I'm not saying you're crying, but you can't put the blame on me or yourself. You got to really wait it out because at the end of the day, you're going to make money. Because it's a 2-year contract. Unless Genesis Mining sinks like the Titanic today, then, we're all done. But at the same time, look, man, it's not trying to encourage anybody to do anything they don't want. I'm not holding a gun to your head. I just really like Genesis Mining. I did the whole videos about upgrading. It's convenient because you got to compare yourself to somebody. If you don't own your own home and you can't have these loud miners in your home, just wait. Like, I got a gamer rig. It's so fucking loud I can hear it from the living room of my 2,200 square foot home. If somebody rents your room at somebody else's property, the convenience of not having that plus the electricity bill and paying Genesis Mining the middleman fees equivalent to electricity bill, even though I think you said you're paying 33%. For electricity, whatever it is. Some places.
Well, you must have misunderstood. It's 30 cents per kilowatt hour, which is about
a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot, but I still make a profit with my own hardware-based, personally owned, purchased mining rigs. I still make a profit. Now, I don't have a problem that Genesis Mining is a thing per se, but Genesis Mining is not very transparent. I still make a profit with my own personal shit, but now Genesis Mining is having problems with payouts. It's got a lot of red flags, bro. That's all I'm saying. It's got a shitload of red flags.
How many big companies out there have been hacked? Like, anytime you've ever had a credit card, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, you call your credit card company and say, I didn't do that charge.
No, that's fine. That's fine, Tommy.
But they got hacked. So now they're doing a 2-day thing where after every 2 days they're paying. I've been getting paid every 2 days. I don't like it. It pisses me off. I got a bad taste in my mouth, but at the same time, you got to understand it. It could happen to any big organization out there. It just can. And it did. That's what's unfortunate. But everyone's like saying, I'm going to go to hashing 24. I'm going to do this. What makes you think it can't happen to hashing 24? Even if you don't do that, I'm just going to stick to it and just stay with Genesis Mining. But at the same time, I'm thinking it's not anything that you could not have possibly imagined when you got into it. You had to have been thinking, this is too good to be true. It can last forever.
I understand the trickle-down effect. Like, every day you're going to get paid. But the risk of, like, right now with the red flags, nobody's getting paid. They may resume payments on a daily basis. It may be a scam. We don't know. It's not very transparent. It's very disconcerting to people, right? But at the same time, you keep saying you do these things as an experiment. You put in what you can. You're not recommending this. You're only recommending that. But the fact of the matter is I've had enough time to have some empirical data. That's all I'm saying. Like, for me, my own personal experience is that I put about 4 or 5 Bitcoin into it, and I haven't made that profit back. And I understand you have to wait to get the profit back. I get that whole point, Thomas. But the other point is that since I haven't made that profit back, and now that Bitcoin is worth $4,000, I would have made about $16,000 in Bitcoin, and I haven't even made $4,000 back in Genesis mining. Do you understand?
No, absolutely. Oh yeah.
Well, just here, if you don't mind, I'm going to butt in here. Just because Genesis might not have been the most profit potential that you could have possibly made doesn't mean it's a scam. I mean, they nowhere do they say that this is the best way to earn crypto. Because that's in you to decide for yourself. So you're saying that they're a scam because it's a company that's existed for over 5 years now, and they've, for the most part, been paying. I mean, recently it's been getting kind of shady, but for about 4.5 years, it was each day being paid out. To say it's a scam, I think, is a bit of a jump to a conclusion.
Absolutely, Randall. I'll say this. Let me correct myself. I'm not sure if I said it, but I'm not saying Genesis is a scam. But what I am saying is that it has a lot of red flags, is what I'm saying. And the profit potential that I put into it would not have been as much as if I just would have held my Bitcoin. But we don't have crystal balls. I don't know what the future is going to hold. So I can only look back with hindsight and say I should have held my Bitcoin. But that's my own personal experience. Can't speak for anybody else.
You're gonna have to talk to James outside of the live chat to really grasp the idea about mining in general. Because after I talked to him and we had a conversation about Steemit, I immediately started to decide I was going to power down from Steemit. Because what you're saying about Genesis mining is the same factor that is implemented with you mining from home. You invested money into all this mining equipment. If you would have just spent all that money on Bitcoin, it's the same thing. It's weird. Loss.
I don't mean to cut you off, Thomas, but that's a weird thing because before we went live, that's exactly what I told James Bond. I was like, at this point, I don't know if it's better to buy mining equipment or just buy Bitcoin. I really don't.
Well, let me just
Bitcoin.
Let me talk here for a minute, and I'll tell you my input and my experience because I buy from miners, okay, and they all look at me sometimes in jealousy because here I come back to them with the cash, right, to buy more Bitcoins from them that they sold me literally yesterday or a couple days before, and they're forced to sell. They have overhead, they have cost, and they got to repay themselves because the equipment costs money, electricity bill. I'm sure they're making some money, but the problem is when the difficulty goes up, they have to reinvest into the equipment. And so I'm sure they're making money, and that's why they're doing it. Or some people just love to do it. That's what they enjoy. The miners that I work with, I'm not sure where they are, if they're joining in a pool, but I think they're here in the U.S. Mm-hmm. Some people don't mine at all. They somehow get Bitcoins. I don't know how, but they have them, and I will gladly pay for them. But my experience from talking to them is that it's not that easy all the time, and they're really mining. And so cloud mining came after 2013, and before cloud mining, there was a company called Butterfly Labs. I don't know if anybody heard of that, but they were essentially cloud mining. What they were doing is taking people's money, and then they never delivered on the product. What they were doing is they were building the machines, and then they were mining it themselves. They were extensively, quote unquote, testing. And that was really what I saw the birth of cloud mining. Eventually, it was a bad company. They eventually went out of, well, they may be still around, but they got stopped by the government to do business. And ever since then, cloud mining has been kind of like taken off since then. And you have to realize, since I've been around, there have been many mining companies that have gone out of business, and they are the you know, they cloud mine. I mean, they don't cloud mine. They actually mine their own machines and everything. They built them and they mine them, and they went out of business. So how can Genesis beat the odds? It's very hard to beat the odds. And so I think they're taking your money, and eventually when it comes time, and I think that time is soon, and they're going to realize that they can't be profitable anymore, and they're gonna, you know, they're gonna do what every smart company does. They're gonna say, sorry, customers, we're going out of business. We got paid. I paid myself a salary. I paid off our creditors, and unfortunately, you get the butt end of the stick, and you get nothing, because that's what happens in a bankruptcy. That's what happens when a company goes out of business. The customers are the last in line with their hands out. Everybody else is going to get paid. The investors, any creditors, all those people, they're going to get paid first before you, and then by the time it gets to you, you may not have any money. So remember, the two things that I've mentioned before is people make assumptions when they cloud mine. Is first, you think you're going to live forever, and second, you think that the company that's cloud mining is going to be profitable forever. And those two things are not true. They're false. So you got to be careful. And unfortunately, I guess, Chris, you had to learn the hard way. Well, but at least you know now.
Until Genesis Mining goes under, then he hasn't learned the hard way yet. But he did learn the hard way as far as the value of the difference between buying Bitcoin and going to Genesis Mining. Because I always say it in my videos, it has to be the extra icing on the cake for you. You have to be investing in crypto, mining crypto from home, in Bitcoin heavily, in Ethereum heavily, in altcoins. And then Genesis Mining's got to be like that play money. That just like, I want to play around and I want to test this out to see if this is going to last for a long time. And if it doesn't, it's not going to make or break me. Because if you go into it full blown and invest, it's stupid.
I think you need to stress that more on your videos, though, bro. Well, yeah, maybe, but you got to understand, Thomas. Like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm well off. Like, money doesn't mean shit to me. So when I lose a little bit, it doesn't matter. But somebody else is listening to you and going, "Oh, well, this is a way out." That's what they're thinking. A lot of people have it hard, and they're looking for a way out monetarily. And all I want to say as well is that when you put, like, let's just say when I got into it back in April, I put $1,000 worth of Bitcoin into it, right? Let's just say for theoretical purposes, $1,000 worth of Bitcoin was like 0.5 Bitcoin, right? But 10 months from now, what is $1,000 worth of Bitcoin going to be? 0.1, 0.2, right?
That's so things I talk about, though. You got to understand too. A lot of people that send me hundreds of dollars of tips when I even ask, put $1,000 in a PIVX when I told them to put in a PIVX and it was 40 cents. You know, put 5,000, 10,000, bought masternodes. At the same time, they're doing Genesis Mining too. You just got to be, and I've always pitched being diversified. Your portfolio has got to be diversified. I always pitch this too. I say everything is diversified, but I'm not diversified in cloud mining because it is not something, it's the extra icing on the cake. It's not something that needs to be part of my portfolio. It's the extra icing on there where I'm not going to be part of Hashing 24. I'm not going to be part of Matizer, which is out now. No, it's just, it's fun. It's convenient because you're paying somebody to mine for you, and it does pay out daily. And it's the same concept if I were to have all these miners in my room right now today. If I spend $10,000 for miners today, James will tell you right now that I should have just bought 10 grand in Bitcoin. In a year from now, it'd probably be worth way more than what I mined.
So you're saying it's like if I'm going to go to Vegas and I set aside $500 to gamble and I lose that $500, I don't give a fuck because I went to Vegas. I knew it was money to lose.
Well, yeah, pretty much. If you're going to be cloud mining, you should not be doing it if you're not involved with everything else. Absolutely. And maybe I wasn't clear about it, but I have been as of late. And those were never my intentions. My intentions were to document me doing what I do. And if it was a mistake, it was a mistake. And I always said from day one, learn from my mistakes and learn from my success. However, I would think anybody, and I talk about this with Yellow Fever all the time, I think it's stupid for people to go on YouTube for advice. I've never done it once. I'm on there talking about what I'm doing, and I'm doing what I'm doing. And when you're promoting Genesis Mining, at the end of the day, it comes like this. And I always had this feeling too, because I can compare myself to Trayvon or Craig Grant. I remember as a kid where we'd get the fundraisers, the candies, and all these kids were winning the prizes, going on trips and all that. And my only network was my immediate family. I'd sell to my aunts and my uncles. Everyone in my town, we didn't know anybody, but everybody else just knew everybody outside in town, was able to network and sell all their candy and win the trip. And it was just like just having those referral people that you know. It's just the same thing too. If you're going to go on Genesis Mining, look at somebody who's doing better than you as far as selling the candy, selling the product. You have to go out there. I should have been out there door knocking. I always told myself, wow, I'm not winning, but I never got up and knocked on people's doors. I just sold to my family and just thought, oh, I suck. You know, everyone's doing better. But everyone was networked, door knocking with their family in the front of the Albertsons, you name it. You'd have to go onto YouTube and promote it if you want to get on that level of getting the referral bonus, you'd call it, whether it was hash power or commissions. But that's a lot of things that people look at it where they're just like, it's a Ponzi scheme, it's a pyramid scam. Yeah, if you go out there and promote it, you can do very, very well. But my ROI didn't come from that because I didn't have that scale. What I did was I invested a lot of the SHA-256, and when Litecoin was $3.86, I pointed it all towards Litecoin, and I mined like 50 Litecoin in a month, and then Litecoin went to $30 and I sold it. So my ROI in Genesis Mining came quick by sheer luck. I just did it was perfect timing.
Can I ask you one more question?
You asked me 10 questions.
Do you think it's morally correct to promote products like Genesis Mining and BitConnect and use your referral code and post that in your YouTube descriptions? Do you think that's a morally correct thing to do? And if so, why? And if not, why not?
It's as long as you tell people, like I try to say it, I'm experimenting. If you want to join this with me and take the risk, high risk, high reward is what I pitch. And yeah, but at the same time, neither of the two have been proven to be a scam.
But is it morally correct to do that if you know, if you do not know the whole background of this company? Or in other words, if you have a minimal amount to risk, which you can afford to lose, do you still think it's morally correct to promote a referral code? Like your referral code for Genesis Mining and your referral code for BitConnect will get you a commission. Now, what if BitConnect or Genesis Mining do turn out to be a scam? If you had that knowledge, would you think it's morally correct to use your referral codes for those programs? And if not, why not?
Well, I guess I would have no morals because everybody that I know has a bank account. Is there a standard of a moral to have a bank account, knowing that all your money's locked into something where if everybody walked into a bank today to cash out, would they have your money? No. That's a true scam right there. And everything else outside of it is a scam too. If everybody wanted to cash out of BitConnect right now too, would they have the money? I'd hope so. They're banking on the fact of people reinvesting every time they get paid out. I'm not like that. I'm like 50-50. So I don't think there's no morals in the finance or investing category of anything. I think there's morals when it comes to rob, steal, and rape people, yeah. But in this category, what could be possibly morally correct or wrong or considered having morals? I mean, it's the wild, wild west in the crypto world, and it's the wild, wild west in the fiat world too. We're all dealing with bankers that are holding our money. Somebody that is charging us to hold our money. For what reason? We don't know, but they sold us on the convenience part of it because now I could do auto pay on my car insurance. I don't have to drive the Coles to pay my credit card bill. It's all a fucking scam. Everything around us, we're being hustled. So this could be a hustle. But what limits are there to say what is morally correct or not? Because I don't know if it is. As long as I give you a disclaimer, just like they do when you watch an episode of Cops, don't do this at home, or you're watching The Stepman. People are watching and being entertained, but they're giving that disclaimer of, hey, man, don't try this at home. I'll start saying that, don't try this at home, but I do tell people, if you want to roll the dice with me, I roll the dice. That's how I am. I say it all the time.
So are you admitting that anything goes in the world of crypto, or should we try to protect everybody in the community from nefarious actors?
Well, what has been considered something that's done damage to anybody? Name one company. Because Coinbase has a referral program. People are using Coinbase to cash out. I refer you to Coinbase. You spend $100 on Bitcoin. We both get $10.
Fair enough.
Same thing with Amazon. Same thing with Ralph's. If I go buy groceries, I get 20 cents off a gallon at Ralph's. Incentive.
Hey, Thomas, I understand where you're coming from, and I understand where Chris is coming from, but at some point, you know, if you want new people to come in, and you want that experience to be pleasant, and also to the point where where people are really making money, like long term. It's not a short term gain. It's not a hustle. It's a way to become financially free. And my impression with like a lot of people who come into this space is that anything goes, and I should hustle to get mine over everybody else. And if that's the community you want to build, it's not a very good community to build upon.
No, you're right about that. But at the same time, talking 5 months back, if I would have took your advice, James, I wouldn't have as much Bitcoin as I did today. Took 5 Bitcoin into Pivx, and I made so much money. So I'm giving good advice online. At the same time, I got a little Genesis miner here, which just doesn't.
So hold on. You said you turned 5 Bitcoins and you put it into Pivx. So how much Bitcoins did you get out of it?
A ton. Well,
Like
I only started.
100.
I've only started to cash out a little bit of Pivx to go into other places. However, I put Bitcoin into ARK, which I started buying ARK at 12 cents. I sold when it hit over $1 a few months back. Which you advise don't mess with altcoins, but I made a lot of money off altcoins. And I think it's
okay, you made a lot of money on altcoins. I understand that, but you have to understand the price of Bitcoin's gone up. So if you had 5 and there are 4,000,
not during that time. It was rocking steady between $1,000 and $1,300.
Okay.
So now it's gone up. We can't refer it back to where it's at now. Now I have the Bitcoin I made. It's gone up.
Right. Well, I'm saying how many Bitcoins did you end up with total? So just like an idea, like did you end up with 6 or 12?
Oh no, way more than that. When I went
100?
When I went into Pivx and I took out profit of Bitcoin, I took out about 5 Bitcoin profit when I finally took out of it. And Bitcoin was still staggering, probably between $1,500 to $2,000 at the time.
All right, but you don't know how many Bitcoins you ended up with?
No, I left Bitcoin. I left invested in Pivx. Recently, I've cashed out a little bit too. I was going into ARK. I was going into there was ARKcoin. There was Pivx. I had invested in BitBay. BitBay, I didn't make a lot, to be honest with you. Maybe a little under $1,000. But Bitcoin had not skyrocketed yet. Bitcoin had not been to this.
I understand that, but if you have the Bitcoins now, I mean, you would know right away.
How much Bitcoin exactly? How would I know if I diversified it towards to so many other altcoins?
Okay, so you never really made any Bitcoins, but you made a lot of money through the altcoins.
Well, you make Bitcoin off altcoins, right? Am I wrong or am I right?
Well, that depends, because from what I understand, I mean, when I look at this concept of making money through altcoins or making Bitcoins through altcoins, you have to first because you're trading against two different pairs at the same time. You're trading against US dollar and Bitcoin against your altcoin. And so it's really tricky when you look at it, because you can make a lot of money. That's true with altcoins.
Let's make it simple. How much is Bitcoin worth right now?
Well, I think it's 4,000.
Okay. So you buy an altcoin that's worth a penny at this very second. You sell it tomorrow, and that altcoin went up to 50 cents. Bitcoin hasn't moved.
Yeah. In that particular case, yes, you made money, but that's not what I've seen. That's not what I've seen at all.
I haven't seen anything unless you were behind the scenes where anybody has done it. People are doing this every day, James.
No, I get what I actually get.
Right now, give me that math right now, and tell me if somebody spent that amount of money on an altcoin that was 1 cent, but it went to 50 cents tomorrow. And we're talking about day traders right here, because they're by the second. How much Bitcoin money did they make? I'm drinking. You can do the math.
Well, I've looked into it, and first of all, when you have an altcoin, like some of the altcoins you're talking about, there are 5 cents, 1 cent, whatever. There's low liquidity, so you cannot, in my opinion, okay, you cannot scale your profits. Okay, you can't take $10,000 and turn it on an altcoin and turn it into $1 million. All right, that scale is not the same. There's diminishing return on it.
If this was true, the BTC dominance would be at 99.9% today.
The what?
BTC dominance. There would be no altcoins.
Well,
there'd be no reason to.
Well, there is a reason for altcoins. It's to get people to give up their Bitcoin. That's the whole purpose of the altcoin market. It's because
that is something you might have made up in your own mind.
No,
that is not.
No, that is true, because listen,
Hold on. Do the math. What I just told you to do. For the viewers, do the math right now.
Okay, do what math?
Now you're sidetracking and trying to prove your point. Do the math. Do the numbers. Numbers talk. Do the numbers.
All right.
Tell me
how about this? How many Bitcoins would you have right now if you cashed out to Bitcoin?
You were sidetracking. Do the math.
Okay, you don't have an answer for that? Because I would know if I was trading altcoins right away. Like I'd be like a hawk. I would know for sure how many Bitcoins I have.
I have millions and billions of altcoins right now that are going up and down, fluctuating. Give you a precise answer. I have to go in my room right now. I'm not going to do that. Do the math right now on the equation I gave you and prove to everybody what you're trying to say, because it doesn't make any sense.
Okay. What I'm trying to...
So many times where I've talked with you and Yellow, we've been on Skype, and then we talk with you, and then after we go, what is this guy saying? It comes down to, I think that you were afraid to go into altcoins because you can't do a peer-to-peer transaction.
Well, there's that too. Okay, what I'm trying to...
Until one of these altcoins can provide you that, then you do it. Or they meet your 5-year mark, which since mine is going on 5 years. 5 years comes.
Yeah, and they're having problems right now on their 5 years. So that's
the marriage.
That's the reason why I wait that long, because they can only last so long. If it's a good business, they'll last longer than 5 years. If it's a bad business, they'll start faltering around the 5th year mark. And so, and that's true of any business.
I'm still waiting for the math equation, because I can't do it in my head right now.
Okay.
It's going off the price of Bitcoin right now. You buy an altcoin right now at the price of Bitcoin for 1 cent. Tomorrow hits 50 cents. What did you earn? Bitcoin and profit, everything.
Right. Oh, well, my point is, okay, my point is that's not going to really happen, because these altcoins have very low liquidity.
Every day. It happens every day. Every day.
Okay. Tell us a coin that you're in right now.
I just don't understand where the math's at. Now we're going back to a coin, this and that. I don't need to even bring up a coin. I want you to do the math so we can show people the numbers. Because right now, if you're pitching and it's all Bitcoin and nothing else, you're cheating people on money. Because if you're going to tell somebody who's new to come into Bitcoin at $4,000 and they can make money, They gotta wait until it goes up 1,000. If they bought one Bitcoin, they're making what, $1,000? If it goes to $5,000, or I can give somebody advice to buy an innovative altcoin at cheap, and when it goes up, sell it and make profit. That's the difference, James. Do the math, baby. Come on.
Here's the thing: is I don't have to trade. I just have to sit down and just wait. And
how many people do you know are coming into cryptocurrency to do what you're doing?
How many people do I tell?
How many people are coming into crypto to do it like you're doing?
Probably not. Probably not too many. I'll be honest with you, not too many, because they're uneducated. They are literally uneducated about this whole thing, and so they think that they can take $250 and go into an altcoin, and they could somehow beat the market. They can beat.
They're trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, brother.
Listen. If you can do that, right? If you can do that, then you wouldn't need to make these videos about Genesis mining and the market recap. You would. Well, I'm just saying you wouldn't need to make any of these videos. You would literally just be like, you wouldn't tell anybody, because the more people you tell, the more it ruins your way of trading. That's a secret that you want to keep to yourself. So the reason why you want to tell people about whatever you're doing is because you want them to buy in to pump up the price.
I buy in. First coin I talk about is Bitcoin every day. So yeah, I hope they do buy in. But
yeah, me too. Me too, and they have.
Do the math.
I mean, I don't even have to make a video about it. I talk about Bitcoin because I enjoy it.
Why we're going into a crypto circle right now, we can just do the math. Because what I just told you happens every second of the day. You and I both know it.
Okay, so how much money are you making a day?
That question is not up for discussion. We're talking about the first thing I'm trying to get out of you first.
Okay. So if you buy one and let's go with your math that you say that happens every day. Okay, now I'm gonna do your math. Okay, so $4,000 at 1 penny, right? That's 4,000 coins, or that's more than that. That's what, 4 million or 40,000 coins?
You're off. You better.
So that's 40,000 coins. It goes up 50 cents.
400,000.
400,000. I might have to need a calculator because I'm not very good at math. So let's figure this out.
Here,
I'm gonna use a calculator. I don't want to.
Sell it at 50 cents. You wake up tomorrow, you sell it at 50 cents.
Okay.
Well, I have something to say. Excuse me. Thomas G is actually correct and not correct at the same time, right? And let me just say, I've been long on Stratus. I bought $3,000 worth of Stratus a few months back for 3 Bitcoins, right?
Yep.
It's still at about 4 Bitcoin, $4,000. But those 3 Bitcoins now are worth 12 grand. But now they're still tied up in Stratus, which is only worth about 5 grand. Right? That was 3 Bitcoins worth back then. Now it's only 5 grand now. But if I had just kept it as Bitcoin, it would be 12 grand. But there are some altcoins where you could put 1 Bitcoin into it today. Tomorrow it just shoots through the roof and you get another Bitcoin in 1 day and then you cash out. So he's correct and incorrect. It only depends on how fast that coin pops up in Bitcoin value in a certain amount of time. If that makes sense.
And the Bitcoin
and what I'm
around, it's opposite.
So Chris, that's you're correct, but here's the thing. Here's the market liquidity is so low on these altcoins. You know, some of them only trade for like 1 or 2 Bitcoin a day, you know, and some are more or less. But my point is you cannot scale this profit. You cannot take $1 million and turn it into $100 million on these altcoins with a low market cap. You can't scale it.
No, not with low market caps and low volume. That's true.
And Thomas, here's your answer. If you bought 400,000 coins at 1 penny and then it went up 50 cents, you would make $200,000. Are you telling me you made $200,000 today?
I'm just giving you a prime example. And you just
a prime example of how to do math?
You just currently told people what you have been hiding from them. You can make money.
Because you can, and you can lose money.
how long did it take for Bitcoin to get to this point between all of the scare that was happening as far as the split?
I don't know, 7 months?
It took a while. And people
Seven months is a long time?
And for some people, yeah, it is.
Okay.
But take my example of Stratus, right? I put $3,000 worth of Bitcoin in a few months ago. It's only at $4,000. But that $3,000 worth of Bitcoin is now worth about $12,000. So how did I make money on that?
Well, you invested at the wrong time. It's all about timing. And there could be a set amount of coins. As long as you put the research in and you study a coin, you can figure out where you need to invest and throw your money.
And I don't totally disagree with you, but
timing, man, it's not. Who would have known if if Bitcoin goes to $2,000 tomorrow, it's the same thing, going downwards. It's just no one predicted this as far as it going to be $4,000 today. A lot of people thought Bitcoin was going to crash. Everyone was buying Litecoin as a hedge. Everyone was buying Litecoin as a hedge, and they were buying into Ethereum, anything else. Until it happened, and they realized that things were going to be on the plus side. Now Bitcoin's going back up. The whole market's manipulated. It doesn't matter what coin we talk about. As the government takes over and regulates Bitcoin, that's when they're going to have it by the balls. It doesn't matter what you and I do. It's going to do whatever Goldman Sachs tells their investors. It's going to do whatever the government suggests you do. It's going to scare people when exchanges get regulated. Bitcoin is just not going to just keep going up unless somebody does something about it soon to regulate it before it gets to that point. Because look, they want in on this, man. We're getting away with highway robbery, all of us. We need to be regulated based off the way we've been living, the standard of life. And I don't agree with that. I don't think we should be, but that's the way it's got to be.
Thomas, I don't think we should be regulated. I'll be honest with you. I think everything's fine. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing or anything. It's just that, if it's up to us, right? If we're given the freedom to do what we want, do we want to do this? Do we want to just pump and dump? Because here's the thing, Thomas. If you have a trading strategy, the best thing you can do is not tell anybody, because that ruins your trading strategy. I opened my mouth to you in this chat or personal chats between you and I on Hangouts with me, you, and Yellow. I don't talk about those things, but what I'm saying is,
the conversations we've had outside of this.
Yeah, we have conversations outside, but what I'm saying, Thomas, in general,
I've almost made $10,000 in staking one coin in like 20 days. 10 fucking grand in staking one coin that I barely put any money into.
But isn't the opposite true? You could easily lose 10 grand on an alt.
Yeah, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, but it could, right?
Well, here's the thing. If you have a viable strategy, a trading strategy, you wouldn't tell anybody because that ruins your strategy. The only reason why you want to tell other people about it is because you need them to buy. You need them to buy into it.
I don't give a
right to raise the price.
YouTube has that power. That's ridiculous. The real investors out there don't probably even watch YouTube at all.
No, they don't. So I wonder. So everybody's circle jerking each other.
And this is just like.
Well, here's what I'm saying. Everybody's circle jerking each other. So all you're doing is putting money into a pot, and then whoever grabs out of the pot first makes the money.
I gave you credit about
Steam. Just repeating this process over and over. So nobody's really making any money in this space.
You've only convinced me about Steam. Tell them what you told me about Steam, and that's why I'm powering down, because I had a piss.
Oh, okay. Well, there's nothing special about Steam that I don't consider about other altcoins. I think people who are bag holders or have bought in at some point in time, they're bag holders, and they don't have a trading strategy. There is no trading strategy. They just bought in and hoped that it would go up in price because, that they're stupid. All right. Now, the only way you can get out of it is now you have to talk to other people to buy into the coin, right? You have to get them to buy into the coin to raise the price for you to get out and make them the bag holder. And this thing is repeated over and over. That's what these altcoins are only good for, turning people into bag holders. And then once you become a bag holder, now you're motivated to talk about it because you want somebody else to buy it from you. So this is another selling to the greater fool. And this is all this altcoins are. And all you're doing is, if you get involved in this stuff, you're giving up your Bitcoin, and you're trying to make money, and maybe you will make money, but at the end of the day, if I'm not, if I'm wrong about this, I mean, the price has moved up. The price of Bitcoin has moved up. You missed out all this time. And so that's my whole thing. And if you're going to do that, fine. I don't have a problem. People should just realize that. And if you all want to participate and put money into this pool, is basically what you're doing. And then you got to realize at any point in time, anybody can take money out of this pool. And that's what Steemit is. And that's what pretty much all these altcoins are. And unless these altcoins have a viable trading mechanism other than the exchanges, it's inflated money. You're just inflating a number on these exchanges. The number, the amount of money out there that are on these exchanges, or the coin market cap you see, that's not real. That's a ledger on the coin market cap. That's just a number in your head or on the website. If everybody went and cashed out, they would not get all their money back. Some people would literally be left with virtual tokens. And so that's the game we're playing. And if that's the kind of community that we want, and that's what we want to share with the rest of the world, I don't think that's going to work. That's what I'm trying to get at, And so here we have a chance to be free, and this is what we're doing with our freedom. We're pumping and dumping. We're essentially making pyramids and Ponzi's, and we're proud of that for some reason. But it doesn't help anybody. It does not help. Some people may make money, but it does not help the people who need to be helped. That's what I'm saying. And if you're sound about it, like if you understood what Bitcoin was, what it really is, and how money is created, you would stop doing these pump and dumps and these Ponzi's and these other schemes to enrich the creators or the first people who come in, and you would just help the community, like really help the community. And helping the community doesn't mean like getting rich overnight or making them thousands of dollars one day, and then the next day they do something else and they'll lose it. I mean, it really doesn't help. You're just putting them on a treadmill, and they'll be walking that treadmill for my opinion, forever, until the day they die. And so what I want to do is I want to help, right? I want to help people to really get off the treadmill. Like, get off the treadmill, literally. Be free. Be really free, financially free as well. And so if people do it, I don't have a problem. If they want to do it. But the thing is, if I make a comment in your comment, it's not because I hate you. It's because I want to tell you something. And sometimes it's hard to get through to someone when their incentives are aligned to the point where listening to me may not be in their short-term best interest. That's all.
Well, it's very hard-spoken.
Well, it is. I'm not into Bitcoin because I'm going to buy a Lambo, or I'm not really living in a great house. It's a house. But the reason I got in is because I do believe that this is a way out, right, of an existing system that is unfair, like you talk about. If you think about how money is created and how it keeps us working, it's essentially what it does, in my opinion. And so unless you're willing to take a how can I say this? Unless you're willing to make lifestyle changes and different thinking of how to create money or how to become wealthy, people aren't going to do that. They just want short-term gains and they want an easy way out. And that's not, in my opinion, that's just not how things are really done. It takes some effort and work in doing this. And it's hard when you see all these people go about it, I think, the wrong way, and they're promoting that way as well. And but that's just me, And I don't want to fall into that situation where, you know, I'm doing pumps and dumps, or I'm participating in a scheme or a scam, because you don't need Bitcoin. You don't need cryptocurrency for that. You know, you're only in here for the space because there is no regulation. There is no rules. But if that's what you do when there is no rules and there is no regulation, this is what you do, then what does that say about you? And what does that say about the community you're building?
Well, the only thing I say is, you know, that was very hard spoken. I'm touched by it, but 50% of the market disagrees with you, brother. I'm part of it. You know, I like
that's fine. You know, the 50%.
If it ain't about the money, James, you wouldn't be selling it peer to peer. That's all it's about, brother.
I sell to people who come to me, all right, because that's what I offer them, all right, and I know the price was going to go up, but I sold my Bitcoins to them because they needed Bitcoin. All right, you have to understand that for some people, there's no option. There is no option for them other than to use Bitcoin.
Look, if you're that kind-hearted, would you sell it to somebody who needed it for just $2,000? I don't think so.
No, because on the other side, of what they use it for, they don't accept it for $2,000. Okay, it's the market price, and I participate in the market. I don't fight the market.
You're talking about, you know, saving puppies and being all about the good stuff.
No, I don't.
For somebody for $2,000, just be a nice guy. Would you do that?
Well, here's what I'm saying is
money.
You could participate. All right,
if you had a buyer for $5K, you'd take it in a heartbeat just because they offered it to you.
If that's what they really want to give me, then yeah, but I'm not going to take a loss. Then I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. Okay, if I'm going to take a loss, I wouldn't be able to do this very long. All right, and so what I'm saying is I participate with the market. I don't try to beat the market or fight the market. All right, I participate with the market, and this is what the market bears. That's what I do. All right, and when people come to me and they want Bitcoin, and I have it available, I offer it.
Oh, I know.
They can go anywhere. They can go anywhere. If they don't like my prices, they literally can go anywhere.
In your speech, dog. Sell me a Bitcoin for $2K just to be a good man. Is one
well,
person going to make
when the price of Bitcoin is $2K, all right, I'll sell you Bitcoin for $2K.
Then don't say what you said last and give me.
Or how about this? You give me $2,000, and I'll give you $2,000 worth of Bitcoin.
I'm just saying, you're acting like it ain't about the money, so don't drop a speech like that if you ain't about the money, bro. Sell me a $3,000 Bitcoin, $3,500.
Well, I will sell you $3,000 Bitcoin when Bitcoin is worth $3,000.
We're not $3,500. We know each other well enough, don't we?
So, but my point is, I'm participating in a market, a free market. I'm not trying to manipulate the market or sway the market in my favor.
Here's what I think. I'll take my hat off for this too.
Okay.
Look, James. I'm standing here looking at people with my hat off in the eye and telling them what I do. When you're ready to show your face and give your real name, because I know you wouldn't give your real name to Ozzy.
Well, Thomas, when you're ready to meet me, I will give you my name.
Hold up. Man up, go on your channel, look people in the eye, and tell them what you think. Because I have to look a man in the eye to know if I think he's moral.
Well, if you're ready to meet me, I'll look you in the eye and I'll tell you what I think.
Oh, I'm not putting it on YouTube. What do you have to lose, brother?
That's kind of a cheap shot, dude. I ain't gonna lie. Lots of dudes on YouTube keep their face covered.
I don't.
Well, you don't.
I talk about whatever the fuck I want. Whether it's about cloud mining, BitConnect.
Yeah, we don't have a problem with that. You can talk about whatever you want, you know, but
I have nothing to hide. What are you hiding? If your face is burnt or something like that, I mean, I get it, you know.
Well, Thomas, if you do want to meet me, we can meet and we can talk anytime. I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, I can even let you know my name. We can even exchange IDs. I've done that with other people.
Yeah, you wouldn't even tell Ozzy your first name. He's been doing videos for you for 5 months. If you gave me your first name after one live stream, I'd feel pretty awful about that.
No. Because why would I give someone my first name that I barely know?
Gentlemen, this shows the format of all of James Bond's YouTube videos have been first-person POV, and so therefore he continues that to this day. Howdy, Thomas. I'm still here. I see why you guys are going down this path, and I think it's not a constructive path as far as discourse for us to bring to the crypto space at this time. We can do it without despair, right? And we have different views on different things, and that's what it is. It's always about equally eloquent opposing viewpoints. It's not personal, it's about our opinions, and we can talk about those outside of each other.
Well, okay, Brian, thank you.
Oh, well, nice to meet you, Brian. Where are you from? New York? I forgot. Is that where he's from?
Yeah, he's from New York. He's from New York.
I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button. I live in the Bronx.
Oh, you're the inspiring actor guy? Is that you?
No, I'm not an aspiring actor at all. I just do some acting.
Oh, so you just act for free?
Sometimes. When you're an independent filmmaker, you can't really pay yourself a lot, right?
Yeah, man. Man.
Well, I don't understand what James Bond's face has to do with any of the points he's making.
That doesn't have anything to do with anything other than I like to look the guy in the eye and see what he's saying. Has a lot to do with a lot of stuff.
Well, I don't understand what that. I don't understand what that has to do with.
Back from making money from altcoins. Hey, come on, Chris.
You could have.
Chris,
you can have,
if you did not believe in altcoins, why the fuck are you mining?
Because I want Bitcoin.
Then buy Bitcoin. Spend that money on Bitcoin. Why buy mining equipment? Face difficulties and face mining difficulties to get paid less and less of what you could have made if you bought it.
Well, don't misunderstand me. I don't spend all my paychecks on mining equipment. I spent a little bit of play money, like you say you do with Genesis Mining, and I took that small amount of money and I bought some mining equipment, and I have it mining, and it there's pure mathematics, because all hashing rates deal with math. It tells you how much you will get in bits a day.
What's the difference between that and Genesis Mining?
Then at the end of the day,
what's the difference?
The difference is I'm the master of my own domain. That's the difference.
What are you mastering other than you're paying to mine, just like Genesis Mining? You're paying electricity.
You give money. I give money to myself to mine for myself. I don't give money to some third party that I've never seen.
Your argument this whole time was that you would have made much more Bitcoin invested in Genesis Mining.
That's true, and
you learned a hard lesson. You learned a hard lesson with Genesis Mining, and then you take more money and you invested in mining at home.
Not really.
Shit, that makes no sense. So you lost twice when you could have took that $10,000 it probably cost you and just bought Bitcoin.
Yeah, that it was a lesson to be learned, and that's what I am talking about right now to other people. You're just
morally correct,
and you're just
mine. No,
I'm not telling people to mine at all. You're the one that's telling them to mine and using your referral code to do it as well.
There's as many subscribers as me.
You're the one. No, you're the one that said. You're the one that goes on every day and says, "Use Genesis Mining, use my code." I'm not telling people to do that. And I'm not telling. And I'm not
Bitcoin accessories all day, brother.
And I'm not telling people to mine. I'm not telling people to mine.
You just talked about it. I'm talking about what I'm doing. Just because it's not on your channel and you're talking about what you're doing.
Yeah,
you're making people think that you're making money off of mining. On this live stream, thousands of people are going to see it, and you've convinced the world that you're making money off mining when you just said Genesis Mining was a loss. So would regular mining be a loss too? So now anyone that comes into the space is going to think you're a complete idiot because you lost twice when you could have just bought Bitcoin like you originally said. Am I not right?
You're not really right, dude.
I'm absolutely right.
I will let the audience
twice.
I will let the audience decide if that's what I've said.
You lost twice, like Medina lost to fucking Mayweather twice in a row, or whoever. You back-to-back losses right there.
Well, this is what's weird. You're kind of like in a roundabout way admitting
back-to-back losses.
Well, here's what's weird. You're in a roundabout way admitting that I lost by investing into Genesis Mining, and yet you still pump Genesis. I never
said I lost.
And yet you still pump Genesis Mining.
Did I tell anybody to invest in Genesis Mining while I've been on here this whole time? I said it's the extra icing on the cake. Well, you went all in.
I didn't go all in, and I never said I went all in.
So why are you complaining?
And that's a pretty convenient excuse.
Why are you complaining? Why are you crying on YouTube on a live stream?
I'm not complaining. I'm telling people to chill out with the cloud mining.
Come on, bro.
Okay, I'll let the audience decide.
Well, how about this?
Is gonna say this guy didn't learn his lesson.
How did I not learn my lesson?
Because you went and cloud mined and apparently lost all this money in 4 months.
I didn't lose money.
Invested in mining from home, where you have high fees for electricity in what, Europe? So you lost twice. Apparently, you're saying.
No, let me explain it.
Not lost at all.
Let me explain it again, Thomas. If I would have just held the Bitcoin that I spent on Genesis Mining, I would have made more money. Right.
The same thing you're doing today too.
Right. Okay. So I'm not saying like I'm crying. I'm saying I would have made more money. So it was a bad investment. I'm telling the audience, you may not want to do that. I'm not your financial advisor, right? And now, hold it. I let you have your piece. I let you have your piece. Let me speak.
After all these years, it's going to pay off, brother.
You've had your piece, okay? Yeah, you might be right. That may be right, but in the last 7 months, it was not a very worthwhile investment.
What are you gonna do with $4 grand in fucking Bank of America, bro?
And what? I don't even have Bank of America. Where'd that come from?
What bank you have? What are you gonna do with that $4 grand in a bank account?
What does that matter?
Because you just invested it into crypto. Crypto's gonna blow up, and you're whining. I just don't get it.
I'm not. Get it. Dude, it's not whining, Thomas. You're missing the point.
I don't get it. You just invested in crypto.
That's fine. You know what? This is like going in like a circle, and you're not really understanding what I'm trying to say. So
you mine twice, and you learn your lesson twice. Apparently, that's all I know. But go on.
So
go ahead, Chris.
Okay, so the mining investment for Genesis Mining was just not a worthwhile investment. I would have made more if I did not do that. Okay, not crying. Money doesn't mean shit to me. Okay, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but money doesn't mean shit, right? I didn't put all my life savings into it. I didn't go all in on Genesis Mining. Maybe I should have a caveat like Thomas Gutierrez and say, this was just the icing on the cake for my life, right? But it wasn't a worthwhile investment. I would have made more if I would have just held Bitcoin. My GPU mining rigs and my ASIC mining rigs have been making me more money in the long run. And it's a personal decision. It's all math. Once they have made their profit, which they will,
and you're
I can decide. Yes. I can mine whatever I want, dude. I mean, I know how to mine. I have GPU mining.
That's not true. You're mining altcoins and you're selling them for Bitcoin. Am I right?
Yeah, well, what do you mean by that?
You're mining altcoins and you're selling them for Bitcoin.
Well, I could mine altcoins and hodl them, but I just mine altcoins and trade them for Bitcoin. What is your point?
You're not mining Bitcoin then.
I just want
compared to a SHA-256 straight Genesis mining cloud mining account.
Well, Genesis Mining, I just put it all Bitcoin and all my GPU rigs.
Figure it out. You're not making anything at all mining Bitcoin. There's no fucking way you are. You are not making money. You're lying. You are absolutely fucking lying. You are not making money mining Bitcoin.
Thomas.
You are not.
I'm not mining Bitcoin.
But you started the whole live stream saying you were.
I'm not mining Bitcoin.
It's like the rest of us.
Is that as clear as day? I'm not mining Bitcoin.
So you're not
everybody who's watching this stream and then who's in the chat, Chris Ramos is not mining Bitcoin. Is that clear?
Now we know.
But who would mine Bitcoin because it's not fucking profitable?
And I made money mining Litecoin on Genesis Mining because my contract was like 20 terahash of SHA-256 pointing towards Litecoin at $3.80, Chris. And I mined the shit out of fucking Litecoin in 1 month and made my profit all back before it.
But Litecoin is not profitable to mine right now.
Now it's not.
So that's the point. That's the point.
And that's the point of what you're doing too. You're switching to altcoins that are profitable.
Yes.
Just like Genesis Mining allows you to do. So you just
right. So what's the point?
You just revealed that you just didn't know what you were doing.
So everybody wants Bitcoin, right?
You did not know what you were doing, brother.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Thomas. I really don't.
You didn't know what you're doing.
I don't know what I'm doing.
You did not know what you're doing.
Explain that. What do you mean?
You didn't know how to use Genesis Mining. You get caught up. You didn't know about mining allocations, nothing. Now you're talking about, now all of a sudden you're mining altcoins, but you're saying you've been mining Bitcoin.
No, dude, you're not listening, man. I think you had a little bit too much sauce.
Well,
I mine the altcoins and I flip them for Bitcoin. And you don't.
For the beginning, that's what Genesis Mining is all about too, is mining allocations.
That's fine, bro. That is totally fine. But Genesis Mining. I don't
give a fuck about Genesis Mining. I just been telling you for the past hour. It's the extra icing
on the cake. But Genesis Mining has a shitload of red flags, and yet you promote it every day. And I'll tell you this, Thomas, I actually do like you. Why do you think my name is Mr. Coin Market Cap?
Because you started talking shit, brother, and I called you out.
It's in honor of you. But my point is that if you thought that Genesis Mining and BitConnect were icing on the cake, you would not put your referral codes into your descriptions.
Didn't we just have a conversation earlier?
Hey, you can do that. I'm not saying you can't, but I find it morally suspect. That's just me. It's somehow not me.
Yeah, so we're going back to the whole. We're going around in circles now. Now we had a conversation how altcoins are bad, but you're mining altcoins. You never display that the whole entire.
Well, Thomas,
no, brother. You said you were mining Bitcoin.
I never said that.
You're saying you're mining altcoins, which is a whole fucking thing that we were just talking about. How James says altcoins are a scam.
I'll defer to the audience if I ever said that. And even if I said that, what I really meant, even if I did, which I don't recall saying that, but I do mine altcoins for Bitcoin, which is something that you hate when people say.
Hold on. Stop. What's up, Ozzy? How are you?
And Ozzy, I love the Oz man, but he ain't calling Thomas G out on his bullshit enough. Sorry, Oz, I love you, but I think that's a point I had to say.
Yes.
All right. I did want to say that if Chris didn't say that, I kind of understood what he's saying. We talked about it before, but that brings up another thing: is when people mine altcoins or what he's doing, mining GPUs, you have to consider this, Thomas, that everybody's dumping those altcoins to get Bitcoin. So if you look at the market, if you buy
not most people that the GPU mine, they keep their altcoins, like me and Yellow Fever, like he's keeping his Ethereum and all that, and I'm keeping the Signatum that I mine because personally I have no use for Bitcoin.
Okay, all right. Well, you're specifically mining those altcoins. Chris is actually mining into what NiceHash?
Yes.
Yeah. So people who use NiceHash, which points to the most profitable profitable altcoin, are usually buying for the sole purpose of trying to get Bitcoin. So you have to take into consideration that even though you're buying or mining these coins, there's other people out there who don't really care about any of your coins. They are doing the same thing as Chris, or if they're really good enough, they're managing their own mine, and they're mining these specific coins. Eventually, they're gonna sell. They're
Conversation
gonna sell.
fucking sense. You guys are attacking me about altcoins while he's mining altcoins. Why
Yeah,
not?
he's mining altcoins for the purpose of
talking about Bitcoin, the Almighty. Altcoins don't mean anything, not whatsoever. Altcoins are scams. Blah blah blah. Yada yada yada. And
well, as a trade, they're not very useful.
Why is he mining altcoins if you don't believe in them?
Because I want Bitcoin.
Because he doesn't believe in them. He's mining them because they're profitable, because you're buying them and you're jumping up the price, and then their people are mining into it. Their people are mining
Bitcoin. Why are you mining an altcoin when you could just buy Bitcoin?
I just said that at this point in time, it is a question I ask myself, Thomas. Like, should I buy more mining equipment or should I just buy Bitcoin? I do ask myself that.
Okay,
you're absolutely right. I do ask myself that. But right now, I do have 4 mining rigs. I'm happy with them, and I'm actually chilling on the buying part of the mining rigs. So I'm waiting for my mining rigs to get an ROI, and then I will go from there. But you're right, Thomas. You're right. Why I don't know if I should buy anything else as far as mining equipment goes instead of Bitcoin. That's a valid question,
brother. And you wasted.
It's not a waste, Thomas. It's not a waste. But that is hey, I'll give it to Thomas G. That is a valid question. I don't buy anything to mine right now because I'd rather just buy Bitcoin, which I suggest you do too.
All right. Well, what I'm saying is that there is a lot of people who do mine, and they may not care about a particular coin, and they will, and their purpose is to mine for a profit, right? And when that coin comes up, like if you buy into a coin with an altcoin, it's going to raise the value, and then everyone's gonna point to mining that particular coin. They're gonna dump it. They're gonna dump that coin to get Bitcoin. So that's the problem with altcoins is people who mine for them, because they're mining GPUs, are easy. They're easier than ASIC and mining Bitcoin. And that's the other struggle about mining or investing in altcoins, is that people who have miners don't care about the coins. They only care about the money, just like everybody else. And when your coin goes up in value, well, they're just going to mine it and dump it. So that's why you see a lot of the prices before, I think this year, you've seen them peak in the beginning when they're created, and then they slowly just go down over time, and then they get pumped and they peak again, and then they slowly go down. And you've seen that trend all the way from 2013 until recent. Now they're starting to go up in price for whatever reason, but you're going to have mining selling pressure. You're always going to have that pressure on there. And that's the other drawback with buying or investing in altcoins. Eventually, people want to cash out, and they're going to cash out to the thing they can actually get cash for, which is right now number 1, Bitcoin. Number 2, maybe Ethereum, and maybe number 3, what's on Coinbase right now. So there's always pressure on these altcoins. That's another reason why I don't invest in these altcoins. But you can make money if you're willing to risk it. I just think that if you're trying to beat the market, it's hard. It's hard. Yes, you can make money. I agree. You can get your money back. But overall, just my opinion, all right, from what I've seen, if you just kept the amount of Bitcoin that you had, you would have made even more. That's what I have to say. But if you're in it for the money, then by all means trade for the money. But you have to realize, as far as trading, the only reason you're gonna make money is because you're trying to promote the coin to get other people to buy. Because if you really had a trading strategy, you wouldn't tell anybody. You wouldn't make any videos. That's just my opinion. Okay, that's all. And I think that's reasonable, because what other reason would you make a video about a certain coin unless you wanted to market it? So if you're trying to be a market maker in that traditional sense, what a market maker does is they get coins that they want to put out to the market. And the best way to do that is like Dash. Dash did a great marketing, and now their coin is worth $200. And if you notice that trend, ever since Dash did that, just about every other altcoin is now starting to do the same thing. And that is the market. Okay, that is free market, whatever, if you want to do it that way. But my problem is it becomes to a point where it's unsustainable. And you know, if you get something that's unsustainable and eventually everything corrects at some point, what's going to happen when it does correct? Like, how many people are going to start making videos about trading altcoins when Bitcoin and all the other market crashes? Because I did go through that experience since 2013. I'm telling you, nobody made a video. All right, nobody made a video about trading. All the people that made videos about trading, they all disappeared. I don't even know any of them have actually come back. And all the people that have been making videos, they've only come around since the beginning of the price movement going up during the bull market. So in the bull market, yes, everyone can make money, but this is just a matter of time, in my opinion. How much longer will these people still make videos, right, and talk about how much money they made when the market's crashing? Because I don't think they'll make any videos, and maybe they'll even lose their money, and they'll be like, you know, too embarrassed to make a video about how they lost everything.
Word up.
Anyways, this was a very long video. But Thomas, I'm glad you came in. I'm glad we had a chance to talk. It made the video very interesting, that's for sure. It made the live stream fun. And then let me see, crypto Rando's gone. So Thomas, you did bring up Ozzy. Did you want me to talk about that? You're on mute. You want me to unmute?
Apparently, you guys had a split between you two. I know it was something about maybe you not providing information, or I think I also heard you said he was pumping coins.
Okay, so I'll try to explain it because apparently he had his video and everything. I'll try to explain it how I saw it for the most part. He did a live stream a couple days ago, and of course it's Ozzy. I subscribed to him, so I wanted to watch the live stream. And he started talking and everything, and you know, I'm in the chat and I do my thing. You know, I usually troll. I don't try to troll too hard with Ozzy. And he started talking about his other altcoins and his portfolio. So I just simply put in the chat, like, are you pumping coins? And he got really, really defensive about it. I don't know if anybody was there to watch the live stream that he did, but it's not there anymore because it's been deleted.
Who is this, James? I'm sorry.
Oh, this is Ozzy.
Oh, awesome.
Ozzy the BS filter. And
Love that guy.
Yeah, you know, I like him too. And but he got really defensive and really angry. And so I was just trying to converse and chat in the chat like I normally do. Maybe some people can't handle my trolling, or if I do troll, I guess it's just in me to troll. But you know, he was really reactive to my particular comments, you know. And so I just watched the whole thing, and I was a little surprised. But I said, if he's gonna pump, go ahead and pump. You know, that's all right. And you know, my thing is, if you're gonna talk about your portfolio, the only reason why you want to talk about your portfolio is because you want other people to buy into it. You know, otherwise, you know, why even talk about it? Why don't you just secretly just buy it and let other people were talking about this stuff too. And it was already pumping.
Well, so, even if it's not your intention, you know, maybe you just want to show people what you have. You're indirectly advertising for that coin.
Yeah, and you know, I don't have a problem. I'm not going to stop them. And if people watch the live stream afterwards, they would never know because the chat is not, you know, shown at all, right? And so, you know, but he had a really, really bad reaction to it. And, you know, I didn't say anything like you're a scammer or anything. I just said, well, you're pumping your portfolio, and then go ahead, you know, you pump it. I mean, there's nothing, I can't stop him, right? I'm just in the chat, just chatting away.
Don't play innocent. You're trying to say on a live stream while he's doing this thing that he's pumping something where he just believes in innovation of a coin, brother, outside of Bitcoin.
Well, that's all right. I even asked him in the chat to go ahead and you know, explain why you like it and everything.
Can I interrupt you guys for a second? I unfortunately have other stuff I have to go do.
We'll see you later, Brandon.
Off the stream, so I'll talk to you guys.
Nice meeting you, dude.
See you, everybody.
Well, anyways, Brandon's info is in the notes section, so check it out. You can click to his channel.
Yeah, James, you can't just say he's pumping something because he believes in innovations outside of Bitcoin. You're really going to say he's pumping a coin, sharing with people his thoughts and experience? Because look, that guy's the last person on all of fucking YouTube that I would ever accuse of pumping anything. Anything. If I said something, Ozzy would be the one person to say the next day, Thomas G, you're full of shit. That's what I appreciate about him.
Well,
he's not that guy.
I love Ozzy, and
he may have just taken personal if you really meant it. Because, come on, bro, Ozzy, he's not. That's not who he is.
Ozzy has a rep for hedging his statements, and yes, I agree with Thomas. He hedges everything he says with a modicum of not trying to be perceived as pumping something or advertising something. Ozzy is legit, dude. Like, he does his due diligence. He's actually that's the thing. Like, that's his track record, right? That's his track record.
He's my favorite YouTuber at this point.
Well, here's the other thing. It's like he deleted the video. You know, why would he delete the video? And that's not the first time he deleted a video, because I've seen other live streams where he would say something and it turns out he was not right about it, and he would delete the video. You know, it's kind of strange, you know. Well, but that's just me, because I don't delete my videos at all.
He usually announces it whenever he's fucked up on a video or gone into the chat and messed it up and he doesn't like it. He's a perfectionist, and I've watched him and learned his way of thinking. He has never deleted a video based off any circumstances along those lines. It's always been something along the lines where he just didn't like his intro, didn't like the way he approached it. He had to get rid of it. That was
right. And there's multiple reasons to delete a video, right? Like, either you think you fucked up, or you said something and it turned out to be wrong and you take it back.
Take one, take two.
You know?
Well, you know, there's nothing wrong with being wrong, but you know, it's just, for me, I don't delete my video. That's just me. But I've seen other live streams where he was definitely wrong about things, and he didn't want to look a fool, of course. Like, remember the time when you saw, Thomas, remember when I first got onto your channel and you sold Litecoin for Pivx, and I said, you look kind of stupid after that trade because the Litecoin busted up to almost $10. That was a start, and you got all offended. But anyways, you know, like, people, when you make a video and you're wrong about something, you know, you look kind of foolish, right? And you don't want to do that. I understand that, but at the same time, it's like, you know, if you're trying to be honest and you call yourself the BS filter, and you got to have some humility to say, yeah, I could be wrong sometimes. And I could be wrong sometimes, but I don't take down a video when I do my predictions. It's part of my learning.
He's always announced it and said it from the beginning too. I wouldn't say analyze. I watch everything he does because I can relate to a guy like that. That's not a bullshitter. He's not a liar. He's not a scammer. He's always going to be in the middle until he proves the facts otherwise. So any video he's deleted, I know he's announced it, and I saw that. So it's not that it just happened out of the blue. He does announce it on his videos if he has, which I remember a few, maybe 2, maybe 3. I don't know, but yeah,
Well,
that's why
I definitely saw the one where he got very angry at me, and that was deleted. So I don't know why, but he got very, very, very defensive at me, like as if, you know, he and he also felt like I think he felt kind of defensive because I was in the chat room, because he was, you know, explaining what he had in his portfolio, and that's fine. I even asked him questions like how old they are, like what do you like about them, just stuff like that. But I think he kind of knew I would maybe get angry for some reason, and his reaction to me being in the chat room was very unusual, very hostile as well. So anyways, he got so angry to the point he brought up that I wouldn't give him my first name, although that was almost like 3 days ago, maybe almost a week, I'm not sure. But I just asked him not to take offense to it. I just don't want to give him my name, and I don't see what the harm of that was. But it seems like he's using that for the reason why he's blocked me on his channel, and he's blocked me in the chats when he does other live streams.
I thought you guys were boys, man.
I'm gonna tell you right now,
Well,
Jay.
I thought so too, but it seems like he was very offended by what I said in the chat. And yeah, well,
because like you and Ozzy were like peanut butter and jelly for a while, man. Like,
I don't know for a while. I mean, maybe in the beginning. And of course, you know, in the beginning of the relationship, you know, things are always friendly. But you know, when time goes on and there's friction, if something could be just easily undone that way, it's hard to say that it was a relationship. It was a very like someone you meet over the internet kind of relationship. It's not very deep. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I would cry for you, Chris, if you never talk to me again. I would definitely miss your company, but I wouldn't be like heartbroken because I have a life outside of this. But in any case,
totally understand, dude.
I was shocked. I was a little shocked, like how the reaction came about, and then yeah.
No, I wanted to say I've been wanting to say it for a while too. It's that I think that people love James Bond at first, right? Because you ask questions, like you get to the root of issues, like with questions, right? I'm not saying that Ozzy got mad about things because of this. I don't know what Ozzy's mad about, so I'm not going to speculate on that. But what I do want to say is that you do ask questions, and for me, it's honestly been like James Bond is using the Socratic method, the dialectic, questions to get to the root of a close approximation to the truth, right? And no offense, Thomas, like Thomas, I do like you. You were like one of the first guys I watched, and I hope you continue to have success. But you don't ask questions, and for me, that's where you get to the root of the truth, or whatever could be a close approximation to the truth. And that's all James Bond does. James Bond just asks questions. You may call it trolling, and sometimes I think like when Socrates was alive, Socrates was the first troll, right? Like he just asked questions, and people are like, "What the fuck? Why are you asking questions?" But it made them think, and that's what James does. I never watched James Bond, and he's not asking questions. So I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? Like
I don't do live streams and answer questions for one. So I have never done a live stream, so I don't have a chance to answer questions. But people do email me, text message me, and call me. And there's a lot of my crowd base that I talk to directly.
But do you get what? But do you get what I'm saying? Like why people would be mad with James Bond because he asks questions, and when you get asked questions and you get answers you don't like, you tend to get mad.
Talk shit.
Well, you can call it what you want, but generally, what you call trolling from James Bond is James Bond just asking a question that you may not like the answer to, right?
I I'm gonna call you out. I think
Not you. I'm just saying in general. That's what
I think you're riding his dick a little bit right now because look, he talks shit and he spreads mad fucking speculation and bullshit. And I love you, James, but I think after we just had this whole thing right now with the whole Aussie thing, I've had the whole thing. I've been able to analyze it, and I'll still be your friend. But I can tell you both right now, you can both suck my dick. Now,
well, he lived in a Thomas G way.
Well, I guess I don't like him very much anymore. Damn, try to be nice. I don't want to suck his dick. James, man, I don't know, man. That's just how I see you, man. I'm not saying I agree with you 100%. I'm just saying your method.
You don't have to agree, you know. And
but it's your method.
It is my method, and I, you know, the thing is, I do test relationships in that way. I mean, all relationships, and you know, the truth really comes out when you're at the most friction in a relationship, any relationship. And we can't all be nice to each other every time, all the time. I would consider that fake, because I know that's bullshit. So at some point, if I ever offended someone, or maybe said something maybe someone didn't like, I can acknowledge that. Doesn't mean I don't like you or hate you. It just means I have an opinion, and that's my opinion. And, you know, if I can say that, I can say it. Just like everybody else has an opinion. And I don't censor anybody. I don't block anybody. If you have something to say to me, you know, you can say it to me. I won't take offense to it. I might even encourage you to even continue to, you know, leave comments. I'm trying to engage others to have them think about things. And like you said, I do ask a lot of questions because a lot of people never ask questions. Right? And they never ask themselves any questions. They tend to have answers, you know, where or how they came up with those answers a lot of times. And that's just my opinion again. And so if I push to the edge, it's to see who they really are. Like, what kind of person are you? Because we can all pretend to be something as a front, as a face. But when you start piercing through it, or you're looking a little bit deeper and you dig a little deeper, it could be different from what you're trying to put a front, you know, put a front on. And so I try to push those limits, who you really are. And so maybe that's what I did, and he didn't like it. I don't have a problem with that. If he wants to block me, he can block me. If he doesn't want me in the chat anymore, that's fine. I'm still subscribed. I still like to hear what he has to say, and I'm fine. I'll still make videos. This is not a video for like anybody else other than for myself, and also to connect with hopefully other people, and to share those ideas, and to have other people think about you know, the space in particular. Like, how do you want this space to grow, really? Do you want it to be an endless pyramid, an endless, you know, Ponzi, or an endless pump and dump, or do you want to make it, you know, a real community, a real idea, a real society in which to grow on? I'm not sure if anybody's really ready to do any of that, because right now it's just a money maker for some people.
Yeah.
How long they'll be here, I don't know. I suspect as soon as the money is no longer easy to make, they'll go, they'll leave. And the people who really do care will probably stay. I'm not sure. Only time will tell.
Well, you know what? I gotta say, dude, like a big sign of weakness for me is people rage quitting. And you made the dudes from BitConnect rage quit. You just made Thomas G rage quit. I don't know what's going to happen with you and Oz in the future. I think you'll do a few more streams, maybe hash things out. Because, like I said, his track record, he's a good dude, like, on the surface. On the surface, you're a good dude. But, you know, humans have to take every other human with a grain of salt and some precaution. So maybe one day I don't like you. Maybe one day I don't like Ozzy. I mean, nobody's infallible. You know what I mean? Not everybody has all the fucking answers. But we got to do the best we can in the moment that we got. And I haven't seen anything super negative from Oz. His track record's pretty good. He seems to want to help the community. You do too, but I actually also think that you both come from it from different perspectives. So, I don't know what else to say. This is a pretty shocking revelation. Like I said, you and Oz at the beginning. Like I know Oz through you. For
Right.
whatever that's for whatever that's
you know,
worth.
and I don't have a problem with Ozzy. That's the whole thing. I mean, if he wants to share it, share it. I think he just took offense to some of my chats, and he's angry at me or very defensive. I'm not sure. It seems to be one or the other. But you know, it does his connection with me does not hinge on whether I make more videos or less videos. I'll still continue no matter what.
No, I understand.
So I'm sure he will too. But the problem is now everything's been said and done. It's hard to unsay things and undo things. And
well, especially on a live stream, yeah.
yeah, well, especially on a live stream. And I'm not taking this one down. And so it's part of history. It's part of my history. A lot of my videos are about me. You know, it's not about me trying to make money off my subscribers. It's not me trying to, you know, pump or anything, you know, pump a specific product or anything. It's just an experience and education. And that's all it is. And I never expected to really make money off of YouTube or anything. But you know, the problem is now you're dealing with words that have already been spoken and actions that already been taken. So it's probably best that we go our own way. And you know, he has his channel. Let him do his thing. I have no problem with what he's doing.
Sure.
I can't force anybody not to do it or to do things. All I can do is just make my videos, and if they allow me to make comments on their channel, I'll make comments on their channel because that's how I participate. Or if I'm in the live stream, that's also how I participate. And if people don't want it, of course, you know, I'll get blocked. And so when I see people blocking, that's kind of a sign that they can't handle whatever I have to say. It's not like I'm very, very rude.
That's a telltale sign.
I am because you know they're, you know, it's obvious they're scammers. Some people are scamming, you know, but not that I have any problem with scamming. But if they admitted they were scamming, I'd be like, all right, this guy knows what he's doing. He knows how to scam. But some people just don't know they're scamming, and they are scamming inadvertently. That happens quite a bit.
That does happen quite a bit. Yeah, I'll just say, dude, like, I don't think that. Well, let me rephrase it. When people do start blocking other people or not allowing comments, that's like a telltale sign that they have something to hide. And I'm not saying Ozzy's doing that, because obviously he's not. But blocking people, disabling comments, that's a pretty cowardly thing to do. But time will tell. We'll see what happens with you and Oz. Maybe you go your separate ways. And the thing is, like, I don't think people realize, James, it's like I can't speak for you. I'm not mad about altcoins, right? Like, I'm not mad about altcoins. But people act like, what are they trading altcoins for? They're trading them for Bitcoin. Like, just fly under your true colors, right? We all want the Bitcoin. You're not buying Litecoin or Neo or NIM to trade it out for money. You're trading it out to get more Bitcoin, and then hopefully trade Bitcoin out for more money. And that's all I'm saying. Like, go ahead and trade the alts. Go ahead and make the Bitcoin. But when we say, like, you're just pumping up an altcoin so that it goes up in Bitcoin value, because people conflate it. We're not talking about altcoins in dollar values. We're actually talking about altcoins in Bitcoin values, right? Like that's what you're trading your altcoins for. So why do people get so offended when you say Bitcoin is king and they say you're a Bitcoin maximalist? They're kind of ashamed to admit that they are trading their alts for Bitcoin. And I'm not saying Bitcoin's going to last forever, but at this current time, Bitcoin is the king. I'm sorry, I didn't make the world. I didn't make these rules. You know, you're trading your alts for Bitcoin. Just fly under your true colors is all I'm trying to say. I know you're not a coward, Oz. I love you, man. You're very brave. And it takes a lot of bravery to get on Facebook and do your own thing. This wasn't directed at you, Oz. I hope you don't think that. So, I don't know. You still there, James? The feed cut off. Brian, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
What happened to James?
I'm uncertain what happened to James. I'm also just now hearing about all of this with him and Ozzy, and I don't like it at all.
I actually don't either, but you know that's personal things between them two. So
Yeah,
I don't know. But it is a little bit disheartening. I like both. I like Oz. Oz is a good dude.
yeah,
But
it really is.
Testing. Oh, can you hear me now?
We
Yeah.
can hear you, James.
Sorry about that. I think I was messing with the cord here while I was talking. So,
Not a problem, dude.
all right. Well, I guess we can wrap this show. It was a long talk. It was fun. I'm actually glad we talked this much because you know it's good to get things out there and talk about these things because I don't think a lot of people talk about this and really consider anything that we've even talked about. Or if they do, they shrug it off and it's not like it's a problem. You know, I see it as a problem because if this is how the community wants, you know, this crypto community wants to do this, that's fine, you know. But I always am kind of like I'll look at things and if I see something, I'll just say it out loud, and maybe you know I get a lot of you know discontent or resistance sometimes, or people call me out as a troll just for speaking my mind. But at the same time, it's like, isn't that what we're all here for? To share with each other ideas, even though it may be opposing ideas or unpopular views against your views. We should at least be open enough to, you know, talk about these things.
Well, that's how I feel about everything in life, actually, politics or anything. I think that you know, the truth is you're not doing this for you. I mean, you might be, but it's actually for your audience to decide. And that's why asking questions and getting to the root of a problem with questions and answers is important, because it's going to be your audience to filter and decide which answers and questions are valid. You know, and that's why I keep saying the Socratic method, you know, this is what it's all about. Yeah, that's why I have a problem with Thomas G. Like he's probably a good dude. Like I could probably drink a beer with the guy and party and have a good time. But on his videos, he doesn't ask any questions. He doesn't get to the root of a problem. He just says, "Hey, CoinMarketCap says this. I'm doing BitConnect. It says this. Use my referral code." There's no questions. There's no analytical data to perceive anything from, and so the audience, all the audience gets from that is, oh, I should go to BitConnect. They don't have any critical data to think about. So that's how I feel about it. You could be wrong. I could be wrong. Anybody could be wrong, but that's what your audience, this is all for your audience in a roundabout way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, in a way, you know, it is. It's also like a in general I always thought of it as a self-documentary. So it's just an experience through my eyes. So you see how I see things. It was never really about hiding my face. Matter of fact, if any of the audience members want to actually meet me in person, that's always on the table. And I have, to some degree, already met some of these YouTubers. They just don't know that I've already seen them in real life. And so, but you know, if they really want to meet, and they probably wouldn't be so hostile. We'd be very friendly with each other in reality.
I think Oz is actually in the chat. He says he's gonna come. Are you gonna come on, Ozzy? It's not my show to dictate that. Sorry, guys. He was just in the audience. I think he said he wanted to come on.
Yeah, I'm just in the conversation here, so I'm not really reading much of the chat. So you know, I don't speak to the chat. I just speak with our guest, you and me. Sometimes I'll look through the chat, and if there's something interesting we can talk about, but that's about it. Anyways, I think we're gonna wrap this show up. It was really fun talking. It was fun to have you on, Chris. It was fun to have Thomas G. That was the best part, I think. Him coming on all drunk.
That was a pleasant surprise, yeah.
Yeah, did you get your wish on that, Chris?
I did. Yeah, I asked for it and I received it, so that was pretty good.
All right.
Just want to say thank you, Thomas, for coming on. That was pretty good. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, hopefully he'll come on again, and we'll have another chat. We could talk about stuff, and you know,
it's fun.
It is fun. I mean, it's talking and ideas, and you know, bringing things out in the open that maybe we just don't think about. It is fun. It is fun. Brian, do you have any words? You've been silent all this time.
Well, as I was telling Chris a second ago, all this stuff is new to me. It's damn shame. Things do happen. I would like to see that through and past, if that's possible, because you guys. As far as the show tonight, it's been very interesting. A lot of back and forth on, I guess, ideologies or world concepts, how one should move forward and how they act toward others in the crypto space. So it was a good talk. A lot of back and forth. So yeah, there you have it.
All right, excellent. Chris, your information's in the notes section, and I'll put Thomas G's information in the notes section. Brian, your info is in the notes section. I'm James Bond, and you were watching James Bond Bitcoin Live. Stay tuned for the next episode. Until next time, everyone, bye-bye.
Night-night.